Cool. So let's have some reminders from next session. Next session? Let's have some reminders from next session. What does everyone think we were getting up to next session?
Call the Order Kronos.
Isn't this like a cap session?
It is our cap session, yeah.
So
why are we calling the Ordo Kronos?
Because we're having reminders from the future.
Oh, right.
Actually, he's not wrong. It's 100% the reason you call the Ordo Kronos. But if you're calling the Ordo Kronos before the... I mean, honestly, if you were ever going to do wacky time travel shenanigans back to the heresy without altering the timeline, the Ordo Kronos is not a bad way to do it. If we ever do that All Inquisitors game, Ordo Kronos, crossover with the old Great Crusade characters. Cool.
In any case.
Reminders from last session. Let me just delete the ones from next session so no one knows. Report the astropath from Casper. Why does it say report?
That should be a recruit. Or no, that should be
Requisition.
Requisition, that's one.
God damn it. Secure the big gun. It fell onto a nearby sky island. Ewan should read the fame rules for next week, and I actually did. 15 minutes before the session start, but I actually did. Get the recording for Philippe and check it for spoopery preemptively. So I was actually remembering this, or came across this when I was listening back to the recordings, and if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure we said this. After some regrettable incidents were reported on film, I believe we stopped recording mission cam footage, didn't we? Like, the legions as a whole, because there was a load of incriminating war crime stuff that was putting the Crusade in a bad light.
I don't remember that. I remember that we've had a few times where
videos... It doesn't sound like us, though.
I feel like it was... I think it was after Galifas, I want to say. It wasn't just you guys, but it was Galifas was one of the inciting incidents of, what's actually really not doing us any favours? Showing the brutal reality of Space Marines. So...
It's a brutal reality of Space Marines. Showing the brutal reality of Space Marines hopped up on skin lust, attacking a civilian population.
Yeah, the murder is not doing the Second Legion any favours, but, you also have, the fucking Carrion Eaters are still going, fuck knows what the Space Wolves and even the World Eaters are kind of up to at this point. There's a lot of legions that are just bare fucking brutal.
Some brutal. I think the worst ones at the moment. The Night Lords don't get real bad until
the Night Lords
turns up.
Exactly, the Night Lords are okay at the moment. Raven Guard are bad. So there you go.
Raven Guard are brutal more than creepy, skinny people.
Yeah, but it's the brutality is the issue. It's not just the creepiness. So you've got don't get me wrong, wearing the skins is pretty bad. But the point is, you're down there with pre-Corax Raven Guard, the World Eaters before they go completely batshit, but they're still kind of bad, and pre-Russ Space Wolves.
Oh, and pre-Sanguinius Blood Angels.
Yeah,
those guys
sorry,
are
and
creepy.
And pre-Sanguinius Blood Angels. So you're in the bottom quarter of legions where people think of them and go, how noble. Some people like you, but unfortunately the murder is your public perception, at least at the moment. So yes, sadly, I don't think there's a picked chord feed for that. Kill Manabi Virith, still MIA. Kuzco wants to meditate on decision inactivity. You have the remains of one of the Holonites. Technically, you've probably got the fried hulks of the others, but I don't think they're in a good position. They're more like slag at this point. But I guess you could do a Game of Thrones throne out of it.
We could maybe just so melted to the wall, we basically have just new wall decorations, warning other knights not to fuck around and find out inside our ship.
I mean, the ship is large enough that
I've got plans for the captive, don't worry.
If you want to have the slagged remains of the knights you dumped a plasma reactor onto, you probably can just have that fixed somewhere.
We tie them together with cord and give our ship a necklace of Titan skulls and chassis.
You could probably weld it to the outside.
How do we become the first Chaos Cruiser? Wow.
We skinned Titans.
So I bet you're wondering how we got here. I can't do it to your standards, Ollie.
Really good here.
Thank you. Maccy wants to commend Nazeem. Medal for Captain Jeffson. Throw a party for the Solent Salietiers. They're survivors. / significantly increase their quality of life. They're your fucking Byzant Janizars. Cool. So, I believe we left off at, and with the intent of this being the final session, I will pick up the narrative pace a tad. Do stop me if there's any point where you'd really like agency, but we'd be spinning through a number of narrative sections. I believe we left off just before the end of the space battle. Various people had made it back to assorted ships safely, or relatively safely in Mackie's case. I think your torsion cable just gave way at the very end, so you've been, hucked to one end of the hangar bay, but, what's one more concussion to add to the list?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. At this point, I'm basically a tin of human soup, but Space Marines are hardy, I'll live.
Exactly,
Just pour me out the eye slits if needed.
Squeeze him gently out, put him in a bed to recuperate, come back 5 years later, sorted.
Exactly. This man's Space Marines.
The rest of the battle after this point is not exactly a staid affair, but the Akareth seem caught between two eventualities. On the one hand, completely losing faith, with some ships attempting to break and flee, especially the smaller ones. On the other hand, continuing to stay and fight to the bitter end and their deaths. Let's have an opposed roll from someone on the... I'm so sorry to say it. Someone on the bridge. Kuzco.
Carl.
What we rolling?
I mean, what's your take on this for the record? How are you dealing with being in command at this critical junction?
I'm gonna do the only thing that I really know how to do in this situation and open up full battery fire on remaining functional weaponry and just blow the ever-living fuck out of anything not friendly out of the skies.
Entirely fair. Up to and including that one ship of yours that was boarded by the Akareth and which is at least partially under their control, right?
I'm pretty sure that's already going down.
Yeah, I think you'd already... I think one of Coayah's last orders was to focus fire on that for some of your other cruisers. Cool. I'm going to take a ballistic skill check at plus 20. I'm also going to give the Akareth a ballistic skill check at plus 20, and we'll see how much damage the two of you do to each other.
Cool.
Also, as well, I did leave that cordon in the upper atmosphere of all our destroyers.
You did
and
indeed.
lesser escort ships, so even if they try and cut and run...
You did indeed.
So I'm just...
I believe in you, Carl. You can do this.
Can do it. I kind of want to re-roll that because that's only a degree of success.
Go on, hundo.
I'll take it.
Cowardice. That is also a degree of success for the Akareth.
Wow, they suck at shooting.
Yeah, they're not quite to the same level. Oh wait, no, plus 20. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah.
2 degrees of success. Yeah.
Well, they suck at shooting.
Yeah, 2 degrees of success. Yeah, cool. The remainder of the remainder of the battle is brutal. Comparatively few Akareth break, mostly their destroyers, leaving you in a slugging fest where you are outmatched, at least in terms of numbers, but not necessarily in terms of quality. Your ships are better armed and armoured, supplied and maintained. That said, the Akareth do outnumber you, 1.5 to 1, going on 2 to 1, something like that, I think. It definitely wasn't 2 to 1, so somewhere between the two. The losses on both sides are heavy. Those Akareth that do break are intercepted by the cordon above, and those on the ground fight to the end. When they run out of ammunition, they ram. When they ram, they board, and where they can, they take your ships from you. But a ship that's been half pummeled, rammed, and then boarded is in a poor state to fight back, and it is bare few times that they're even able to manage that, given that they're fighting against armsmen who are oddly, strangely, fanatically committed to defending the very core of the fleet. And on top of that, no small Space Marine contingent. Sorry, I'm echoing on someone. Maybe? It might be young Nicholas, and I think he muted himself, so actually good. Thank you, young Nicholas. You lose perhaps slightly over half your ships, cruiser after cruiser going down, destroyers sinking into the ether, but one after another, the Akareth ships are tossed into the soup, and then down, down, down into Ballast's cruel gravity well. The rest of the fighting lasts another 6 hours or so. But by the end of it, you stand bloodied, battered, all but broken, yet victorious. What do, folks?
Have I been unpeeled from the end of the hangar bay I slammed into yet?
Yes. You may consider yourself to have been, removed for emergency check down. The Mechanicum are giving emergency attention to your armor, trying to figure out exactly what the fuck happened there.
I'm still torn if I'm ever going to wear that one again or not.
The unlucky Hundo armor.
Hmm.
Now, the real question is, does the armor dislike you, or does it have a death wish?
Bit of a column A, bit of a column B, maybe.
So death wish is a useful thing to have under certain circumstances, but under certain other circumstances...
Wait, no, step suit, what are you doing?
No, get in the wanker's corner.
Well, I'm sorry, if the Grand Captain insists. Yeah, what do otherwise, folks?
I would like to prepare a full report on the current status of the fleet.
Yeah, what'd that be? God, we don't have any kind of logistics stat, do we?
No, I don't think so.
I'm aware.
Can't someone initiate plans to secure and recover that big gun?
I think we'll leave that there for now, and we'll work on it.
As soon as I'm
Right.
conscious and
I will
able
take...
to ask...
Sorry, I will take a speedy war roll over probably fellowship, please, Carl. Usually I'd say intelligence, but in this instance I feel like you're probably coordinating a massive influx of data from other people.
Yeah, that's fair.
If it was in a more pure report form, that'd be fine, but as it's yeah.
Of a fellowship, so yeah.
Yeah.
5 degrees of failure.
Yeah, there's almost no telling what the fuck's happened. So many people evacuated, up towards the fleet's last known position in orbit. There's fuck knows how many Marines dead. There's fuck knows how many armsmen dead. A huge amount of your attached Imperial Army regiments took a colossal beating. A lot of them were deployed, and then shortly after, plasmid hellfire started getting rained down on the Sky Islands. The bare few who didn't fall into the void or get flash sublimated are in no fit state to fight, apart from the tiny minority of Solent Salietiers who survived, who insist that they'll be ready to go within 2 weeks. They just need a little bit of R&R.
Good man. Good man.
Essentially, in your esteemed medical opinion, the situation is fucked, and there is almost no way to tell not necessarily what scale of casualties and fatalities you've taken, but the actual casualties and fatalities you've taken. You would need more time to rest and refuel than you feasibly have.
I mean, have I not gone back to the bridge to help him out with any of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you, I guess. You can assume you have, but the role has already been done at this point, and I didn't hear a call for assist at the time, I'm afraid.
I was slightly busy.
That is fine. But we're also not going to do we're not going to do back time stuff for baby things.
That's fair.
Not because it's I want to be mean, but because I feel that could get messy really quickly. Not least because Ollie is a munchkin, and there's a decent chance he will deliberately have a baby so that he can perform small backwards time hops.
In any case, right. So everyone's back on the ship, other than Coatlmox, who is currently AFK.
Looking at some neat rocks.
Yeah, a really interesting report came in from Coatlmox amidst all the others via Astropath. He's turning up some really fascinating results into Guantis and hopes that the emergency preparation of the defences on Barrist is going well.
I don't have the heart to tell him. We'll tell him later.
Someone's going to have to break the news.
Okay, I'm going to vox the various captains in orbit for the cordon to see how many of the Akareth ships broke containment.
Carl got a degree of success, and they got 2 degrees of success, which means the majority of their fleet actually fought till the end. With the scale of cordon you organised, and the comparatively few ships from their front who actually tried to flee, you have effective 100% containment. You have literally annihilated the Xenos fleet.
Are there any hulks currently in orbit that we can board for information?
I think there was the initial fleet you disabled on the way in, right? That's the only ones that I'm aware of. Everyone else would have been shot as they were leaving the gravity well. Priority was focused on, like... I believe you left orders to capture them if possible, but also it was a, like, stop them getting out, so they mostly focused fire on stopping them getting out. And because they didn't have any, like, major ships, it was really like, fucking down it now!
Right, fair. So have all their big cruisers and everything fall into the gravity well at this point?
I want to say they had at least one in orbit. It's probably not in Great Nick, but I think they still had a cruiser going. Other than that, so you've got like a few destroyer hulks in orbit, probably with some Sparsakareth on. We'll call it one cruiser in orbit, even though I think it might have actually been slightly more than that, but I don't remember. And the Sky Island with the large gun on it miraculously seems almost completely unfazed. Like, it's the only island for hundreds of kilometers around that still even has grass on it somehow.
Fair.
Which is odd. You would have thought it would get burnt off beforehand, right? Like, it's not like it... weird.
In any case... Right, so... In which case, we still need to find information on whether or not these Akareth are the sum total of their species, or whether or not there is a homeworld somewhere we need to go and destroy.
Okay. You can set your Mechanicum to that. That actually probably brings up a good point. That's why you wouldn't have been helping Carl, in fact. Did you not have shenanigans you wanted doing with Manabi Virith?
Yes! I've got a man to kill.
Yes, so this explains why you weren't on the bridge. You have to hunt someone down in the brief window where they can be murdered without repercussions. What's your plan here, Benji, and anyone else who you're getting to help you?
Well, I still have that melter gun, right?
You still have many melter guns. You only lost a couple of your resupply buggies. So,
okay, well, I'm going to arm myself. I'm going to arm myself with 2 melter guns, 1 in each hand. I'm going to find Manabi Virith, I'm going to walk up to him, and I'm going to open up with both of them straight in his face.
What are you thinking of for the finding? I believe that's a roll of some kind. Relevant Coayah picture. Let me just repost that. What are you thinking of for searching for him?
I wish I could get the cult to help.
Searching for him. What do I got in terms of skills? I mean, I've got command. Find me this man.
Okay. So I guess how are you phrasing your search then? Would be what I'll ask.
I've got tracking.
You can go Rambo if you want to like search him down yourself, so there's no trail back to you.
I will try tracking if that's possible.
Tracking? We've
got tracking. It's got int or agility.
So we do. Yep. I will take tracking. Now, he knows the ship very well. You know the ship very well. We'll call it a no-scores draw plus 0. Tracking over intelligence, perception, fellowship, or agility, whichever's strongest.
I'll take the fellowship, thank you. That is a pass of 1 degree.
Is it?
Yes, because you let me roll over fellowship.
Remember, it's a specialist skill, so it's not rolling at plus 10 if you have it trained.
Right, in which case that is a narrow fail. I will fade that.
I think that seems smartest.
That is a pass of 3 degrees.
3 degrees is coincidentally enough a headshot.
The hunt is on.
Well, it's the final session, so you get a much easier time tracking him down. You find Manabi Virith crawling his way towards the secondary hangar. He's in a lesser-known not even a corridor, a lesser-known stairwell coming up from the pectoral cargo tree fin towards the main conveyorway. It looks like he's been avoiding main routes, anything that would have a Mechanicum adept on it or a serviceable picked feed, presumably because, well, Now is the time for assassination. And he freezes up and whirls when he hears someone behind him, weapons at the ready, but as he sees you, lowers them. As if you'll recall, you have quite a positive relationship.
What Sarah? Am I to take it that the battle went well?
Indeed, Honoured Magos. I'd like to just be walking towards him, just sort of trying to look casual. The final boarding knight has been disabled and its pilot rendered ready for judgment.
Excellent. Heterodox scum. I will write Mars a missive detailing your piety.
How close am I to him at this point? Do I need to get closer?
As close as you would like to be.
I'd like to be to the point where I could almost throw a hand around his shoulder. If I could reach his shoulder.
He's sort of crawling along the floor. His legs, two fairly simple mechanical legs, are not slagged, but you can see the feet deformed and warped, and it looks like some of his servo muscles somewhere they've just been fused. So he's been hauling himself manually up this stairwell. But if he was standing, you'd be close enough for it.
Indeed, Honoured Magos. And I must congratulate you.
I am quite brilliant.
Indeed. And with that, I'd just like to bring up the melter guns and shoot him in his face.
That is a surprise attack. He is not expecting this betrayal from someone who's always been obsequious to him to the point of toadiness. And he was quite confident in his own victory. You dispatch Magos Manabi Virith. And
how much is left of the corpse?
Your discretion. You're in an abandoned stairwell with at least 2 melter guns.
No, I'm going to drag the... If I'm only hitting him to kill him by taking out the head, I'm going to drag that corpse back.
Now,
I've got plans for him and the prisoner.
I will say you are experienced enough with the Mechanicum to know that a headshot, though a likely kill, is not necessarily a kill.
That's true.
It's probably fine, but there is a non-zero chance that's not where his brain was. It would still stun him, for the record, almost certainly.
How long would it stun him for, is the thing?
Questionable, but... And
would we have any stasis pods on this ship?
Probably not outside the Forge Shrine.
Just rip out all his limbs and bring the middle bit.
I could do that, to be fair. Could shoot to disable, then blow his limbs off with the melter gun, just leave him like a tiny little
nugget
of mechanical stuff.
So I lord your impulse.
No, I'm just going to melt him. Just melt him down to the ground.
There's a million ways it could go wrong, is the thing. What if he has, like, a dead man switch where he detonates on death? What if he has, like, some kind of... Okay, he wouldn't have a noospheric connection, technically, but what if he has an equivalent where he can reach out wirelessly? Yeah, you slag him. By the end, he's nothing but a pool of metal. No one will ever know how he died. There are no picked corners in this stairwell. No witnesses. No.
This happened because he accidentally blew a hole in the side of a ship with our ship.
No. It's happened because he deliberately blew a hole in my fucking ship.
Now, let's be fair. Oh no, he did, yeah. Well, technically he melted it. But he vented... Well, he did, and Benji, Coayah knew, but Coayah was kind of stunned at the time, and, like, was thinking, no,
had shit to do.
Yeah, Coayah had shit to do, went into, like, mild denial, and then after it happened, realized that, oh, that was about as dumb as I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I wouldn't say that it wasn't at least partially Koya's fault, but that's not to say that his anger isn't fairly justified, and that Manabi didn't do a big fuck-up here. But he overloaded, and then vented the auxiliary plasma drive into a major storage area that had several knights rampaging through it.
It was the fact that it was to kill, like, 4 knights?
6.
6 knights, yeah. Like, they're big, nasty gribblies, but, like, it was such a disproportionate response.
The Mechanicum doesn't tend to do things by halves. They're either paralyzed by indecision, or way too enthusiastic about doing this awful thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Manabi is dispatched, and in the days following, the Mechanicum presents a new suggested head. You may vaguely recall Magos Arcanist Drelora Faveldim.
Is he in my cult?
She is not. I don't believe you generally have members of the Mechanicum in there. I think it was mostly non-initiated and technomats. Drelora is the person who took over for Manabi at the Forge Shrine, at the Astartes Barracks, managing the armory there. And she's the compromise candidate proposed by the rest of the Mechanicum, as they couldn't agree on who else they wanted, and they don't want someone foreign sent from Mars. Drelora presents herself at the bridge to the, some days after the fighting, to the assembled Astartes command, including a fairly battered, but not too much the worse for wear, Macuiltotec.
I'm paying close attention to his vitals.
Matzeras, I humbly present my services on behalf of the Mechanicum. The assembled Magi of the ship and the greater Magi of the fleet have proposed me as your new Magos adjutant. With your permission, I would endeavour to take the role and serve you humbly and loyally.
She bows low. What say you, group?
What are your feelings on flagging an entire compartment of the ship to kill 6 enemies that could be dealt with much easier?
She looks sort of leans her head up from her continued bow.
It seems an inadvisable waste, unless my masters were to command.
Excellent. I don't think I have any objection.
Meanwhile, in the Teguantis system, Coatlmox gets a slight shiver pass over his spine, as though someone...
I zoned out for a second. What's happened?
The Mechanicum are proposing a replacement candidate for Manabi Virith.
Yeah, I was going to say, out of everyone, like, he would actually have, I presume, some sort of knowledge of the prime candidates for this position.
Somewhat curious how the Mechanicum rushed to present a candidate before the Tech Marine could be contacted. But everyone else who's there... Young Nicholas, you to do your speaking.
I believe my furrowing of the brows shows that I'm not particularly supportive right now.
Well, easy come, easy go. We've offed one already.
And from Nazeem and Maccy?
I believe, as you asked me what I want to do.
Oh, yeah, well, it's the Mechanicum have presented a candidate for the command crew's delectation.
Yeah.
And so far we're at 1-1 on opinions.
Oh, I'm unconscious in a bed right now.
No, it's a couple of days afterwards, so you're, like, probably walking stick in hand and thoroughly bruised, but you're available for state business.
I pumped enough stims in you to at least keep you conscious.
Yeah.
Best kind of stims. Conscious giving. I have no objection.
Okay.
Brows furrow deeper.
Polite 2-1. Young Nicholas? How's Nazeem doing?
Okay. Can I do a fettered reading on them?
Yeah, sure. You don't need to touch people for that, right?
No.
Cool.
Let's give the Mechanicum guy a hug, or gal a hug. She'll be fine with it.
That's a success, so just 3 strongest feelings.
Hope, ambition, and a sort of an underlying sense of greed.
Basic Mechanicum stuff.
Yeah, in a word, Mechanicum stuff. How's the chief psychiatrist feeling?
Could be a lot worse, yeah, sure.
Brows furrow deeper still, to the point where I don't have eyes anymore.
Magos Adjutant as well. We've been waiting upon your appointment for some very important and pressing business. We need a representative of the Mechanicum with us as we pass judgment upon the traitorous night houses of Barath below. Many of them fought bravely with us and should be commended for that, and given all the help they need to recover and repair their world. However, several did not. they openly attack the servants of the Omnissiah in his form of the God Emperor. Sorry, Emperor, that was...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Out of character reflex. Yeah. We will allow it.
Sorry, I've been reading a lot of the Black Templar.
No, I
Codex recently. Yeah. It says God Emperor about every 2 pages.
I'm almost surprised that it's only every 2 pages for the fucking Templar. Anywho, carry on.
Yeah, in case. Yes, they have openly thrown away their oaths to their liege and god in the form of the Omnissiah. He's a god to them.
You get glances from everyone on the bridge other than the Magos at that one.
That is the oath they made, basically.
Yep. No, I realise that. But in character, everyone who isn't part of the Mechanicum is incredibly uncomfortable that oath exists. It's literally against state policy, but no one's allowed to talk about the fact that it's against state policy.
In any case.
Just to implement... God damn it, Carl, I see your frowny faces. Just to confirm something here, at your initial confirmation way back at the start of the speech of her title of Magos Adjutant, she stands up from her bow and preens slightly. Carry on.
Personally, and I don't know about the rest of the command crew, but I feel they entirely possibly may have a similar punishment in mind. I was thinking that the Night Houses, once found guilty of their crimes and transgressions, should be hauled away for servitorization and their night suits confiscated by us so that we can better fight the enemies of the Machine God and the Emperor.
Well, she's getting on our good side. Suggest something about that giant gun as well.
Well, this is what I was going to suggest as well.
The Magos Adjutant, just to cut in quickly, tucks her hands neatly behind her back.
The authority of Mars over the greater Mechanicum of the galaxy is infinite. And in this instance, as in all instances, Mars supports the Astartes. We agree that these heterodox knights have acted more than questionably, violating their oaths and losing even basic rights. We thoroughly agree with this sentencing. Further on, we feel that the Mechanicum should salvage what can be salvaged of the battlefield. Hulks, weaponry, and knight suits and their wreckage.
In that, we are as one, then. What I was going to say as well was, hopefully we should, with the implementation of knight suits within our forces, once we have taken them from the foul heterodox traitors.
Glances from everyone on the bridge again.
As I was saying.
So I'm going to interrupt you every time you say it.
Once we have retaken the knight suits from the traitors.
I thought Benji was pausing for you to say a thing there. You remember? You got distracted.
Sorry, yeah. I think he had a thing happen.
Sorry, I'm back. Yes, basically, as I was saying, do you, Magos Adjutant as well, I know several of the assembled here command crew, and many within the fleet would wish that the weapons of the enemy were returned to the Astartes to divulge their secret, so that we could both better fight the enemies and destroy them in a delicious irony with their own weapons. I'm unsure as to where you stand on the practice.
She stands straight, unmoving. Her red Martian cloak gently flapping in the light circulating air of the bridge.
The weapons of the enemy are forbidden. However, though Xenostech is foul and to be analysed and then destroyed, the Akareth used, or appear to use, almost exclusively salvaged human technology. I have...
There's a slight mechanical barking that, for all the world, sounds like an awkward cough.
Already instituted salvage teams to work on reacquiring the more major pieces of technology littering the battlefield. I hope this does not meet with your disapproval.
On the contrary, Magos, that is exactly what we hoped. Plunder, war spoils, and materiel to further this Legion's march towards progress and the reunification of humanity under our twin empire.
Mackie was actually going to change his vote to abstain because he wasn't feeling well enough and his brain still rattled. And then he heard Big Gun get approved, maybe, and the night suits, and he's back to being yes in the yes camp.
With your permission, captains, grand captains, and other assorted brothers of rank, I will have an ultimatum issued to the Barrast capital. Loyalists will bring the traitors to their knees for us, or be added to their ranks. No more loyalist blood needs to be spilled.
Of course. I will leave that in your capable hands. What I would ask, though, is could several technomats, of course, honoured magi such as yourself will be very busy with all of the technology that must be found and maintained, could perhaps several technomats be seconded to Astartes' team so that we may investigate the Akareth the foul Akareth and their methods of storing information so that we might more adequately ascertain their homeworld, their numbers, and whether or not we need to hunt this species down further.
Again, that awkward...
Lest they threaten more human worlds.
Again, that awkward screeching bark.
I have already authorized teams to the Akareth hulks in orbit.
Excellent. I shall have Astartes deployed there for protection in case any foul Xenos remain.
As you will, my lord. With your permission, I would retire. I have operations and celebrations to commence.
Of course. Unless anyone else of the command crew had any pertinent remarks they wish to make, perhaps congratulating you on your appointment.
I congratulate you. New appointment.
Kuzco's face all but inverted at this point as the frown has sunk through his mouth, making it nothing but a long V of disappointment.
Why don't you like this person, Kuzco?
I'm gonna go with gut feeling.
I don't know what you mean.
They are being surprisingly yes man for an admin.
Right? And, like, many notions on humbly and loyally serving. Like, I mean, that's not a red flag from someone dressed entirely in red. Then, I don't know what else.
Walk in, flapping in the wind like a literal red flag.
I'm just going to say that I'm pretty sure they probably have some idea as to what happened to Manabi Virith, but given it's dead man's boots in the AdMech, they're probably not too bothered.
To be strictly fair, like, the reason Manabi was crawling up a stairwell was because he was worried that the Mechanicum were going to murder him, let alone you. They're probably outraged about you doing it, but they're outraged. They would be outraged if they knew it was you who did it, but no one knows you did it. Everyone is just assuming someone else did it, but no one wants to admit it. And now they're focusing on trying to get in like a solid Mechanicum candidate before the Techmarine can swamp in and rig the election.
Which I certainly would.
You 100% would.
Yeah.
Like, the Mechanicum doesn't tend to agree on things
that is
fast.
fair.
Cool. So, salvage operations kick into gear for the next couple of weeks.
Just to super clarify, we are recovering the Giga Xenos gun and shoving it on our ship, right?
You are indeed. Actually, like, Drelora actually seems to, weirdly, have authorized teams to go off on salvaging for the large Xenos gun the second she became the official candidate. So, before she came to get that candidacy certified by yourselves, and before she sent teams out towards the Xenos hulks in orbit.
Either she's done her homework on us, or I really like this person.
Like, I think, like, because she said things like she's already sent people to go on various missions and stuff, and she couldn't have done that without, like, having already set it in motion, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, she 100% set things in motion, and then came to get her position certified.
Yeah. Wait, there's another red flag!
I don't know what you mean. Cool. Those 2 weeks will actually give time for word. Well, we'll say it's a couple of weeks hence, so that gives time for Coatlmox to be alerted and then shipped over from Tiguantis to Barras.
Oh, one last note of my research.
Yeah.
I wanted to change what I was doing with the black rots to transporting to surface to like putting in crates to slowly build a ring around the planet. I think that's neater.
Fair.
It's just a background thing.
Okay. You're working on this in the background. That's fine. I mean, you've got the civilian ships doing it for you at this point anyway. It's all a very slow-going operation.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's what's been happening there. God, it's completely thrown me off now. What the fuck was I going to say? Yes, the actual situation on Barras itself, the Mechanicum transmit their ultimatum, controversy follows, civil war follows, bloody knights fighting knights, ultimately with some minor support from your forces, leaving the loyalists in command of Barras, but Barras remaining essentially a shell of itself, completely unable to resist you taking what you want, which conveniently includes essentially all materiel and like galley serfs and things from the city, as well as, say, the resources needed to temporarily jury-rig anchor a large gun to the outside of your main ship's hull. Which I suppose would be the scene that Coatlmox comes to as he arrives in system, assuming you want to, Cread.
Yeah, I think I will shoot you on my way.
Yeah. Is there anything else anyone wants to be getting up to specifically in those couple of weeks? You don't have to, I just want to double check. Otherwise it'll be like general post-battle stuff.
Oh, I mean, as soon as I was feeling better, I wanted to call, Nazeem, the human who came and grabbed and wrapped that rope around me, and what's his face? Guy who Middling, is it Middling Nicholas? Yeah, the guy who the member of my Havoc Squad doesn't like me.
Middling Nicholas. Havoc Company, but yeah. Yeah?
Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah. And in my room, feeling not too great, pretty banged about, like I'm internally jelly.
Yeah. The only person who looks worse than you is actually Captain Jeffson, who, in breathing a fairly large... Oh no, he had a rebreather on, actually. Yeah, no. You've saved yourself, Cread. Yeah, never mind. Captain Jeffson's fine. He didn't breathe a ridiculous amount of toxic gas in the course of trying to rescue you, and therefore has not contracted an awful lung disease.
And I'm going to commend them. I mean, it might be a bit weird for Nazeem to be commended in the same room as like Middling Nicholas, just because they're different ranks and shit. But yeah. I want to give them my personal thanks for their rescue effort, and that I tell them that they will receive the highest of accolades I can possibly give. And I'm going to take Middling Nicholas aside, and I would like to attempt to start making amends. He is more than clearly proven himself capable as a more senior member of the team rather than the wild young buck he once was, causing civil wars only not 3 months ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was like fairly recently. So in light of the fact that you did recently try to kill him, and he recently saved your life, what is the tack you're taking here? Because really, he needs to forgive you, not the other way around.
I'm going to tell him that though he handled himself impulsively and incorrectly on our Badur, it does appear that something has changed recently in the recent months, and you've become the soldier I knew you could be.
He stiffens. I was following your orders on Al-Badur, and I followed your orders on Barras. The difference is, on Al-Badur your orders were more direct, and on Barras I had freedom to interpret, if that is all, sir.
I'll let it slide, because...
worth noting that the deliberate absence of Brother Captain is
a
mild dig. Sir is still polite, so it's like a polite dig, but there is a tacit implication of a lack of fraternity there. If you'll recall, you're used to do this to Nazeem when he was in charge.
Were Volshy.
I raise a single eyebrow at it. I'll let it slide this time. I know he's trying to get under my skin, and it will happen. It won't happen.
You hope. If there was ever a legion, Ollie.
It would be this one.
Get under the skin and take all the skin off, so there's no skin left to get under. Ideally, you are to become, it's perfect that way.
My favourite song from the Little Mermaid is "Under the Skin."
I let it slide.
If we're talking about our legion, most of the time there's not going to be any skin to get under.
That's exactly the thing, right? That's how you get... Anywho, you let it slide, though a little voice at the back of your mind pipes up for the first time in quite a while. Disgusting. This disrespect. Middling Nicholas snaps off a crisp salute and marches out of the room, your kind offer of friendship utterly spurned.
I wasn't friendship, it was more reconciliation than anything else.
It's fair. By contrast, Captain Jeffson looks pretty happy with the whole situation.
Yes, I am very pleased with Captain Jeffson, and you'll be getting many, many good things, like medals and such. and a desk job.
Oh, well.
The Solent Salietiers pride themselves on dying in the field.
Oh, okay, in which case then, I'll make sure he never gets a desk job.
It's fine, there's too much demand for them anyway. They're one of comparatively few army regiments willing to follow Astartes into battle. Generally, the army likes to act as, flanking or clean up or, cannon fodder. In terms of following as part of combined arms operations, there's few who can keep up. And at least in your fleet, the Solent Salietiers are the only ones who, actively go in for it. To be fair, a lot of your, in fact, the majority, I think, the last time we checked out the numbers of your army members were, either conscripts, Shanghaied volunteers, or, effectively prison soldiers.
We didn't get in the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
On the note of Solent Salietiers and commendations, considering, everything that's gone on, I would like to start enacting some minor form benefits for them.
Such as?
Well, considering this is a 2-week span.
Yeah,
after the battle, I want them to get from here on out priority apothecary attention across the board. Just going out in any future things when they come back. Considering they're effectively our backbone, the ones that live, they're gonna fucking live, man.
They're almost like your Praetorian army regiment, or a better term for that, I guess. You're the personal army regiments of your group.
I was thinking it'd be good to get them best quality weapons and armor if we can, or better than they have anyway right now.
They were working with that initially. I don't think they're Terran, but they were coming from one of the worlds closest to Terra, so they were incredibly well equipped. But the casualty rates they take and the rate at which they churn through equipment, they're probably...
To be fair, given their breaching specialists and siege specialists, I think as well, given that we've just requisitioned a whole shitload of knight suits...
You could turn those over to the Solent Salietiers, that's true.
That'd be an upgrade to the ranks, for sure.
At the same time, worth noting, you might not want to put the mind control machine spirits that have good reason not to like you, and in some instances experience killing you, onto the soldiers who know very well how you work. All of the other gear that you're taking from the night houses, yes.
I was rather hoping we were going to swap the command thrones out, to be fair.
I don't know how easily you can do that. I think you need a lot of spares from somewhere, probably.
All the other knights that are currently laying in pieces.
No, because they're all from the same household, so they'd all hate. They'd still hate us.
There's a lot of. To be fair, the Civil War was devastating, right? You basically made of the. So say they took maybe just over or just under half losses in this entire campaign, and then the survivors, who were more or less equally matched, were made to fight each other in order to destroy the traitors, and then that would have been incredibly devastating. And of that, just about the loyalists survived. So there's knights who you could get who didn't hate you, but they're likely to not be fans of you, one after that, and two after you Frankenstein together their command thrones from one knight to another.
Yeah.
How many knights did we get in the end?
probably quite a lot. I'm not going to give you exact numbers, but you've essentially destroyed Barrast as a night world, but in the process, you're able to harvest almost the majority of their surviving nights.
They can always always make more.
We became a traveling
Maybe you have royally fucked them pretty hard, but whatever. The threat seems to be ended, so Omnicantis can do something? ?
Well, that's where they get the night suits from anyway. So,
it depends on the world.
It does, but knights are an STC design, so it's not like they're gone forever.
That depends on the knight type. If any knight type's going to be niche jetpack knights.
Yeah.
But I appreciate what you're saying. Anywho, the point is they're not irreplaceable, but they're also probably not easily replaceable wherever they're getting them from, be it local production or foreign import. So they're not in a great situation, but the world is technically okay, and Omnicantis can probably cover the defense for a century or 9 whilst they, slowly recuperate. I'm just going to go ahead and say everyone add enemy Barrast, or enemy knights, probably.
This me?
Yeah, I think it's probably a thing for your legion.
Yeah, enemy knights.
Enemy independent knights, we'll say. Knights who are loyal to Mars would be on your side, right? But knights who are...
So Questor Imperialis, basically.
Or Free Blades, is it?
It depends on it would depend on the Free Blade. Because it's about personal loyalty, right? So if you're Space Marine, sorry. If you're Night World should be independent, or Night World should only answer to the local Forge World, you'd go, how the fuck could you do this? You were supposed to look after these people. Whereas Night Worlds who are more they weren't loyal to Mars, they attacked their allies, what the fuck did you expect? Would be 100% on your side going, yeah, you purged the heterodox.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. Independent knights. Or independent-minded, however you choose to phrase it. Cool. So, sorry, yes, we did get distracted. So from Kuzco, that looks like priority apothecary treatments, exemption from after-battle responsibilities for recovery purposes, triple rations for morale, and a cleaning service. Yes, Cat. He wants treats.
Oh, who doesn't want treats?
I also want treats, Cat. Life is hard.
A box of treats today in Glorious.
So, yeah, the Solent Salietiers, the quarter of them who remain, seem to be in good spirits. They're getting recognised, they're getting prestige, they're all but the unofficial sidekicks for the local Space Marine chapter. The night salvage operations, not all of them are in good nick, and the Mechanicum's not super is not super keen about the idea of giving them out to army personnel, definitely, but they're sort of looking into what they can do to make the knights service-worthy again, right? Their general, the reports you receive from Drelora for Veldim, in fact, it seemed to be more or less along the lines of, they can make the knights serve, it's just a case of situation. You wouldn't be able to use them in, direct, or it wouldn't be safe to use them, rather, you could still do it, in, direct support, combined arms operations. But things like your initial pitch of what happens if we load them into boarding torpedoes or strap them to the outsides of boarding torpedoes, that type of thing, that's significantly more doable.
The whole point was to give them,
I'm just imagining Coayah coming around the corner of
bigger jets so they could jump over to the enemy ships when we got in close, and then they just tear their way in.
Yeah, I mean, that is also definitely online. Basically, if you could give the knights situations where they can fight but don't have the opportunity to accidentally friendly fire you, then you shouldn't run into too many issues with the machine spirits, especially if they keep the pilots somewhat disposable. That would limit the skill level of the knights, but means that you sort of reduce the issues of mind control and the machine spirits slowly fucking you.
I love the idea of Coayah entering a ship that's been taken over by knights. He steps around the corner of the conveyor way. The knight steps around the corner of the conveyor way at the same time. The knight has a weirdly misshapen arm socket. Strange that, and a slightly dented hood. Things are remembered. Coayah takes a step back around the corner.
You know what? Let me just add to Legion 2. Christ, what are we even doing? This would be slave knight houses. Slave knight house. The Slough. The Knights of Slough.
Cold Slough.
Yeah, for our enemy, did we get all knights is a little...
Yes, sorry, it wasn't all knights, it was independent knights, or independent-minded knights.
Right.
There would also obviously be the exception to that of like mega isolated independent knights or knights who otherwise wouldn't have opportunity to hear about this, but you can pretty reliably assume that Omnicantis is going to be yelling about this quite dramatically, but also that
The Cannons will be yelling about this, but a lot of the bigger Forge Worlds will be totally on our side.
Exactly.
The heterodox.
Exactly.
Like, not only have they been modifying their suits outside the parameters of the blessed STC, they've openly attacked the emissaries of what many Orthodox Forge Worlds see as the Machine God.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. Well, I mean, the suits thing at the very least, I haven't actually decided on what's been going on with that. If it's an STC jumpsuit pattern, or if it's they've been modifying them. Regardless, it's almost a moot point because that's what the major Forge Worlds would say if it was true or not. Because if they don't have the STC, what's the point in not trashing it, right? So yeah, you're going to have a situation where it'll be somewhat public knowledge across the galaxy.
I'm going to Knights, I think.
Fair. So, Knights of Slough added to the list. The Solent Salietiers treated better, and the techno-archaeological operations aboard Hulk Vivisection, aboard the Akareth ships up above, goes well, but frustratingly. No fresh information is turned up. However, a lot of confirmation of what you already know and what you consider to be true is the importance of the mothership, absence of homeworld, like details that you've already supposed or confirmed time and again. In addition to that, between repair, refit, waiting for reinforcements and fresh intakes of neophytes to come in, you're probably going to be in and around these two subsectors for the next 6 months or so. Giving you time to catch up and get the fleet repaired and refitted, which also gives you time to spy and see if the Akareth are going to be coming back. You probably would have spent that at Omnicantis. I don't think Omnicantis is going to be psyched about hosting you now.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, so you're probably more I imagine chilling out at Ferdinandia.
I do want to do something in 2 weeks as well, if possible.
Yeah, what's up?
So the gloopy stuff with the face. Was there any left on my armor or anything, or can I obtain samples or anything?
Yeah, probably quite a bit on your armor, actually.
Yeah, and do some research into it and see if I can find any leftover spoopery, basically, to do with the scary, the mysterious face. Big.
Okay.
Just looking into it, it was very strange. I liked the psychic map I had of the ship. If I could do that with other ships, it would be really good.
Okay. What are you thinking of here? Define research for me. Explain research.
Experimentation with Senescience, reading, my other psychic powers.
Okay. I think I'm following you. I will take Senescience over Intelligence, please.
Can I get Foresight? Because I easily have enough time to prepare for this.
No, that's on short-term rolls. You know we're not giving you out on a fucking, weeks and months of research.
Okay. There is... What is it? No, that's psychic stuff. Cool. Okay, cool. I'm gonna fate it. Nice.
DOS?
That's gonna be, what was that? That was int over what? Sorry?
Perception over int.
Oh,
sorry, perception? Senescience over int. What the fuck is perception over int?
It's just trained, so 53, that's gonna be 3 DOS.
Okie 3 DOS. You perform a somewhat exhaustive battery of tests, psychoactive and otherwise, on the goop that you're able to scrape up. It's a couple of months, actually, before you turn up anything of real worth, but with the collected goop you rescued from the Akareth ship, or I suppose accidentally transported, held in a stone basin deep in the depths of the library of the Obsidian Heart. After much prodding and psychic exploration, activation, and attempts at discovering more about it and the entity that spoke to you, either through it or as part of it, you eventually hear a thin, alien whisper in the back of your mind. Alien because it's an unfamiliar sensation, a foreign voice in your head, but not an unfamiliar one. It speaks less in words and more in feelings and concepts. But you recognize the voice of your contact, the face, even as it chatters and chitters away. You may consider yourself to be able to, with sufficient focus power tests, talk to the voice.
God damn it, young Nicholas.
At least when you have access to your library. I would say maybe add that under psychic powers or something.
This is the same thing that after your deal rusted the ship to pieces.
Every time Nick gets a voice that is caught like a hook in his head, and there's a literal plot hook, he uses it, not 10 minutes later, to get weapons back. And fucking... is it going to happen again? Let's see. Just then.
Fatalities have been down, though. 2.2 billion and change, down to, like, 500,000 plus? Almost all of them Xenos?
I'm not saying, like, all I'm saying is every time Nick has had a voice in his head, it's never ended well for anyone, good or bad. Yeah. Our side or theirs.
It does usually result in an apocalypse of some variety.
Right.
I'm just going to say it's been how long? Well, it's more that we've gone back to a time period where demons literally are not known about.
If I had
already managed to contact one.
If I had a nickel for every time Nick had rolled with something a voice in his head said, and it caused an apocalypse, I would have 2 nickels, which is weird because it happened twice.
God damn it. That joke has been made 4 times about this specific thing already.
Do not care. It needs to be continually driven thing.
So,
I think you guys are just jealous.
I think you should stop summoning demons.
Let's be fair.
Like I said, just jealous.
It was there already. He walked in on a summoned entity.
Right, stop communing with demons.
There you go.
What's a demon?
Yeah. He only knows about them in the context of, like, exotic Xenos of the Emperor.
You mean the thing that he is hard coded through his training to kill?
Yeah, exactly. And this clearly explained that it's not a Xenos. It spoke High Gothic. What more do you want? Can Xenos do that? He's not stopped to talk to any previously, but this one seemed fine.
Oh dear.
Dear. So
nothing negative has happened in the last 4 months to what I did, so it seems absolutely fine. I haven't grown wings or anything. It's fine.
Updates.
Haven't got a second tongue.
Cannot be your fucking standard for things have not gone badly wrong. I haven't visibly mutated and been killed by everybody else.
So, guys, it does feel like we're not managing to get through the narrative segment you wanted to get through before.
It's fine. We don't actually have a huge... But thank you for the pace, but we still don't actually have a huge amount to do. So that's why I've been a little bit lax on stuff. We've got a couple more story beats to hit. In the months after, during repair and refit, yes, you have returned. Was there anything you wanted to get done? In fact, how do you feel, having discovered you've missed out on this dramatic battle? The losses taken by the cult alone are phenomenal.
Big fear of missing out. I'll just be sort of hiding away from my comrades to avoid any bragging for the time being. Focusing on my cult, trying to help with ship repairs and organisation, researching my rocks and more on the side.
It's fair. You're doing your best, but if anything, you feel maybe not necessarily ashamed, but certainly other people, at least some of your battle brothers, are tacitly, or at least implicitly, shaming you. I suppose implicitly is worse than tacitly, really.
Yeah, coming up to you and telling you off there.
Yeah.
On the side of my spoopy rock, I want to see if I can break what I have in half odds, reduce some to dust, and experiment with lacing it into metals, seeing if it retains any of its properties.
These are ongoing, very long-form experiments, we'll say.
Yeah.
You do, within a few weeks, after you arrive, almost immediately afterwards, actually, are contacted by the new Magus Adjutant. It seems Manabi Virith, died in some kind of heroic action involving killing a bunch of knights that everyone agrees was a great thing. And the new Magus Adjutant, a Drelora Favelnim, who you've met her a few times, comes up to pay homage to you, offering you back your old office in the Forge Shrine, and more than that, asking for your assistance in a delicate matter.
I'll tentatively agree. She didn't come find me in my cult shrine, did she?
I don't think she knows where your cult shrine exactly is.
Good.
So she would have come up to where,
I want to make sure she isn't hard flexing that she...
No, I think you had, you established a secondary office somewhere, as I recall correctly, that was, your
I probably have,
one.
a public one, yeah.
Yeah, so she came up to you there and was like, hey, come back to the Forge Shrine. But then on top of that, proposed that she's been given salvaging rights by the Grand Captain, but she wants to extend that. This colossal Xenos gun... Sorry, this colossal human salvaged gun... She's convinced this can be strapped to the ship and used convincingly. She's already of the opinion that the Obsidian Heart is a beautiful monument to the Omnissiah's progress, to the perfection and morphability of technology, to its mutatable protean essence. And wants this ship-slaying behemoth to be a palpable and very visible extension of the Omnissiah's furious will and infinite malleability. And she thinks you can help her justify that to the command crew.
That certainly does sound relevant to my interests. I do feel a bit weird about that line about progression and mutating, but that's
figure of speech.
She's the actual, we don't talk about that. Not in polite company, not right.
I don't like how good she is at buttering me up, but, she's good at buttering me up. Yeah, I'll give her my full support.
Yeah, with that basically secures that she's got the Mechanicum side locked down. There's a spate of minor disappearances as a stream of the more conservative magi aboard the ship, especially those who objected to her appointment, disappear in assorted industrial accidents. But that's
this is really not good.
Not necessarily.
I'm so happy to roll with it.
Not necessarily.
I told you guys.
Not necessarily.
Not going well.
If I've heard of these missing friends,
yeah,
I'll discreetly offer my assistance.
They're mostly.
If she needs to find anyone else.
She thanks you for her for this offer of assistance in preventing these tragic industrial accidents, and lists a number of sectors that she considers to be at risk. What's your opinion with the assistance there? Are you being genuine, or are you looking to narc on her?
No, I'll help her take out some disagreeable tech priests.
Yeah, the curious thing is they seem to be mostly minor priests, things you wouldn't really have thought she'd have any beef with. A few people die and here and there, and if anything, it's just quite deniable and banal.
Well, amongst this, I'll ask if I could help suggest some new initiates from the Mechanicum from some known technomats I hang with.
She asks a battery of questions, but generally seems oddly willing to take in your technomats, open to new blood. Especially as they've had so many tragic disappearances and industrial accidents, mostly in the wake of the reckless overloading of one of the auxiliary reactors that's caused so much structural instability elsewhere. Look at the sheer number of fatalities they've sustained.
Terrible stuff.
Terrible stuff.
Guys, are we the bad guys?
Yes, you made us the bad guys.
I was saying what you're doing might be worth.
Now,
It's a might.
you're further along, so yours is worse than mine at the moment.
Gentlemen, I think we've all come to the conclusion that we're going traitor this campaign, and I think we've all just decided to roll with it.
How dare you?
No,
Speak for
that's
yourself.
not right.
At the very least, I want to be one of those Fabius Bile guys who just always refuses to believe chaos exists, even when he's mutating or whatever.
I think we could just become a Lost Legion. We pop up, we do our thing, go back into the warp, don't answer
I've
to no
always
one.
had
You're
this
thinking of
third
the
arm.
Legion of the Damned. That's not what the Lost Legions are.
I mean, maybe like a literal lost region. We disappear into the
We
warp.
don't know where we are. We're just trying to get home.
We killed all the navigators, and now no one knows what the fuck's happening. Who's driving? Where is the fucking wheel on this ship? Why are there 500 million buttons? Anywho, your stay at Ferdinandia is punctuated by thorough reconnaissance and patrols, and other than the warp storms of the Cherubic Gate starting to advance, rendering Bountiful and Volant more or less uninhabitable, as the storms creep forward and gradually subsume the worlds. Akareth activity otherwise does not seem to pick up. Badast holds, and the Mezin Strait stays open. The rogue traders of Gary's world expand to cover Hesperid and Tiguantis, attempting to cover Bountiful and Volant as best they can, but as the systems become more and more tainted by the Emperine, naval superstition forces them out.
Have my efforts helped at all?
Which assets, sorry?
My efforts. Is Naxos any better off than it was? Has it done anything?
Yeah, the warp route seemed to have calmed down a little bit over Naxos. Like, it doesn't really take... it's not until maybe that 6th month, the end of that 6th month, that starts to noticeably be the case. But, you've really been shunting civilian traffic towards that removal operation. And people are reporting beautiful weather.
Right.
Does this mean if we carry enough of that rock with us at all times?
It stopped warp travel at a point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it causes complete Gellerfield failure.
Yeah. There are.
Before that, it just slows you down.
Yeah, I remember the conversation, and that was a dumb idea.
Yeah, you've still got a club somewhere, I believe. Yeah, your fleet seems to be moving slower than they should be. Like, it's not really noticeable except on longer journeys, but you've not taken long journeys so far. So I suppose I'll ask a few final things to clear up as we head towards the end of the session then. After that 6-month mark, the 6-month anniversary to the hour after the closing of the Battle of Badast, Wesleyan having received a missive from Segmentum Command, declares the Xenocide a success and the Akareth, as far as can be seen, functionally extinct. They seem to have been fleet-based, and you are considered to have wiped them out. Medallion time. For the greatest kill of the campaign, the Terran Medallion. Silver thunderbolts over a shield of gold. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, technically, this belongs to Coayah for the knight.
He did take out a fucking knight, man.
He is Night Slayer now.
Yeah.
He did, yeah, as people start taking to calling him Coayah Night Slayer. You don't really become aware of that until after a few months later. It's not a thing that happens aboard the ship. It's more like the astropathic messages being relayed around the galaxy, including picked feed footage of Coayah soloing a knight without taking more than a scratch. But what did you want doing with the prisoner there, by the way? Omnicantis obviously demands you hand them over.
Yeah, I'm not handing them over. Is there by any chance a very small, person-sized stasis capsule in the forward shrine that I could have in order to make an example of the heterodox?
Yeah, it's the damnedest thing, at least according to your inventories from Manabi Virith's days, which were pretty exact. There were no stasis capsules on the ship. But shortly after the conclusion of the fighting of a Badast's capital city of Badast, the Mechanicum seemed to have just materialized several of these. Presumably Virith had been hiding them, logically. And Drelora is more than happy to present 2 for your personal use.
I only need the 1, but thank you. Excellent. So yes, I'm going to have the heterodox skinned, crucified, and then placed in a stasis capsule at the point of death, and have it hung above the door to the command center. entitled "The Price of Defiance."
Man, we really are becoming a damned engine after this, aren't we?
We'll be hanging corpses around the fucking ship.
They're not a corpse.
Technically a corpse, yeah. Well, I believe we have a company inventory, so you feel free to add that, Benji.
We do, don't we? We have a ship character sheet somewhere.
Do indeed. Well, I think there's the Cult of the Pater Obsidia. Don't know if we actually have a ship character sheet.
I don't know about ship character sheet, but there is like big capital letters company inventory.
Yeah, company inventory I think is what we've been using. Because you might technically like switch ship if the Obsidian Heart ever goes down.
I forgot we had a D cannon hung from the fucking yeah, we have a D cannon hung in the ceiling of the Havoc squad quarters.
It's important to
Where'd you
take
get
these
that?
little trophies.
Oh yeah, from the Eldar. It had,
Yeah, I took it at some point. I think I ripped his arm off.
I like that you've got the little trophies. At some point, I'm really looking forward to doing a tour of the ship for some visiting Astartes dignitary and going over all of your trophies and the different campaigns they've come from. And if you haven't taken enough trophies, it'll be this really embarrassing. Look, behold, all our victories! All 4 of them!
That you're allowed to know of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what everyone says, though. Cool, yeah, so that, the picture of the fucking hung knight, the blurry-ass footage, a good deal of it, like, there was so much fucking smoke, thoroughly obscured.
What picture? Like,
What?
What picture?
You could 100% assume that people take pictures of that
picture.
spectacle.
oh right, sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you meant I'd hung a picture there rather than
No,
just hanging.
you
basic
hung the
capsules.
guy, and people take pictures. And those pictures themselves make their way off ship in various ways, shapes, and form. So, yeah, the wider Mechanicum community, most of them not even knowing your first name, you're simply referred to as the Night Slayer. You may add that as your official eponym if you like, because that's sure as fuck what the Mechanicum call you. So that'll be a Terran medallion for yourself. The Award for Valor. A red heart over a field of white. Now, this is usually for taking crit damage. But in the spirit of basically took crit damage without taking crit damage in that they were completely inert, I think we're going to have to go ahead and give an award for valor to Macuiltotec.
Awesome. What's that look like again?
A red heart over a field of white.
Ah, nice. I already have a field of black with a crimson heart, so I'm just getting all the complementing colours now. It's nice.
That's a campaign medal, I suspect? It's not on the standard list.
Can't remember.
Cool. For Burning Fate, I don't believe anyone burnt a Fate this campaign. I just want to double check.
I don't think I did in the end, no.
No, I don't think so.
Cool. The first time we're seeing it, for thoroughly, objectively, and entirely saving a fellow PC, the award for fraternal excellence to Nazeem. This is a...
Can I get one of those sent to middling Nicholas and it really pisses him off because it says fraternal excellence?
I'm afraid these are awarded at a higher level.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so this is a pair of clenched green fists over a field of crimson. Sorry, just a second. I had to get back on the thing. And finally, for everyone, a campaign medal for service in the Akareth Xenocide. A deep green, diamonded, against a rich blue. On the renown front, you get 1 per primary objective maintained and 1 per secondary objective maintained. So, find the source of the Akareth and expunge it, one of your primaries. Thoroughly done. That'll be 1 there. Do not lose more than 10 systems to the alien assault. Well, you definitely didn't do that. I set that par way too high.
Really did.
2. Yeah, I was kind of expecting more, like, fucking around, which is my bad, because I encouraged less fucking around, and then you didn't fuck around, and then, as a result, like, I think I was expecting a lot more than just Hesperid to get, like, lost between the cracks there. Secondary objectives. Recover any exotic technology for the Mechanicum. Well, you know what you did. That'll be one there. Censure areas tainted by Xenos. I don't think you really had an opportunity to fulfill that one, I'm afraid.
No, not really.
So, that'll be...
Arguably the ships that we took as salvage, but, like...
Yes, but also no. I don't think I feel strongly. If it was more major ships, or, like, one really large ship... Like, if you'd taken a battleship, that would be inarguably it. Or, like, most of a fleet, but it was, like, dribs and drabs here and there.
Yeah.
Cool, so that's a standard +3 renown for everyone, but there is also personal renown. Awarded... Sorry?
Where do we keep our track of our... Okay, so
I have no idea. On your sheet somewhere.
I know there's only renown.
Characteristics and skills, top left. It's next to rank.
Yeah,
I haven't got anything in renown right now.
Yeah, I've not got anything in renown either. I don't think any of us.
We've awarded it for like the 2 previous campaigns.
Company inventory? Nope.
Yeah, I haven't remembered any renown or tracked any.
I don't think any of us have got any renown noted down.
All right, well,
I think
it's
we
okay.
took like 3 in the first campaign.
It's not the end of the world. You can record your renown for now, and then I'll like just go back because I definitely haven't given out personal renown. At least I don't think so. And if I have, then I guess fuck you for not remembering it.
I think the only person who would have run one personal renown was Cread
When?
for his actions on freaking
Galifas. Yeah, I know it. The train station incident. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if I gave it or not. Regardless, we can check like the last episode of every previous season, both of them, and see like what renown was awarded there. Personal renown will be forthcoming for this one, though. Specifically, I think in that last campaign. Now, let's handle these in order. 2, Coayah. Considering the circumstances and scale of soloing a knight flawlessly, I've been yo-yoing between 2 and 3 renown. The scale is 1 to 3 you're supposed to give. How do other people feel? Do we feel like that was more of a 2 or more of a 3?
I feel like that was more of a 2. Like, 3 is truly exceptional. I got very lucky on some rolls when soloing an enemy I could kill, but was going to be difficult for me to kill.
But you mean, it's hard to think of what's higher than a knight, but also possible to kill. Although, to be fair, I wouldn't have imagined a knight was possible.
I don't think it's big. I think it's lots of.
Yeah,
is the general thing of like.
I was going to say that it's worth considering that you did say if he got a 5-point lead on him, then that would have given him easier rolls, but you didn't apply it because you've got.
Yeah, I completely forgot. So technically, like, because we said this actually after you left, Benji. Technically, it wasn't flawless. It was better than flawless because you were supposed to get bonuses that I forgot to award. The other
I think
thing
it's more like if I killed, say, 10 enemy champions in single combat, that would be renown because I've killed one after like loads one after the other. But because I'm just killing one thing, which yes was a big thing, but it's not an insurmountable challenge.
I think that's entirely fair. Okay, so
I agree to that.
In the interest of scale, then we'll give yourself 2 renown. Now, related in terms of people who took on fairly insurmountable odds, fighting at one point outnumbered thousands to 1. That will also be, I think, it's only fair to award 2 renown to Maccy. For, in the face of almost complete casualties and fatalities, never fucking backing down, going after his objective, and despite taking all of the shit from everyone else on the ship, other than some murder members, I guess technically passively working in his favour, surviving and really fucking with the Akareth.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Likewise, for coming back and risking his own life massively, and really, like, delightfully being prepared to die, I'm also going to wing a renown 1 point over to our esteemed former captain, Nazeem. Now, I don't think we're going to give a renown to Kuzco. If I could give, like, sass points, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
Exactly, and I don't have the equivalent for, what's his thing, Captain Jeffson, but you can assume that he's getting whatever the Solent Salietiers equivalent of a promotion is.
Colonel Jeffson.
Colonel Jeffson. Cool. So, that's the renown handled. Which I think gives us just about enough time to look at the election. Now, let's look at how we should divvy this up. So, we usually do it out of about 100 or so, right? I think, with everyone getting relevant vote scores. Now, we were, before Barrast, on more or less like everyone had about even chunks, but that's been massively upset, because we've had huge fatalities and major heroics. So, I think, sad to say, because he was very heroic, but a huge amount of his company died, probably bringing up the rear with 10 votes, is Maccy.
Really? I thought a lot of my company survived, because only not all of them went on the...
Yeah, I thought young Nicholas's company were the one that took massive losses, because they didn't retreat in good order.
Yeah, because
They also took massive losses, but like 2 squads of Havoc got off of the 50% of the company who committed.
Wait, 2 squads is 16? Is it?
No, it was 7 from one and 6 from the other, not including yourself. So they took fatalities, and also everyone else who was on the ship went down with it.
Yeah,
because that hundo really fucked you over. Basically, a load of your Terminators were swarmed, and a lot of the ones who weren't swarmed were just pinned down and were still on the ship when they went down.
Okay, but I still thought that I had I thought I still had a significant number of Havoc Terminators.
You do still have a significant number of Havoc Terminators, but proportional to other things happening. Basically, you're doing really strong amongst Havoc Company. No one is taking Havoc Company's support from you. Their captain, who martyred themselves for them and then came back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
But Havoc Company itself has taken pretty devastating losses in the short term.
Yeah.
So we're bringing you down a bit lower for that. On the flip side, benefiting from the losses elsewhere, Coayah we're probably going to put up to about 30 votes. Because Tactical Company has taken a lot less casualties and fatalities this time around. And then on top of that, winning no small amount of support from the murder, because he did solo that night, and we've got the footage of it, and there's, in all likelihood, people making shit-tier musical compilation videos of their favourite shots of that on the ship's intranet.
You think there's AMVs of me fighting a knight?
Almost certainly AMVs.
Can I make a suggestion then? If only
let's hear it.
So both myself and Benji got the same amount of renown. So does that not then mean that my renown would also garner the same amount of extra votes, roughly?
Not really. They're not the same metric.
Yes, but equally, you lost more men than I did from your specific.
Totally.
Most of the Tactical Company were not in the boarding actions.
Yeah, that's fair.
The renown is more international, whereas or at least into service, whereas a lot of the popularity contests within the Legion, you're beloved by Havoc Company and respected by most other by other organizations and affiliations, but you're... If there was footage of you fighting thousands of aliens, you'd be doing well, but Coayah's big fight happened in front of everyone.
It's fine.
Yeah. Cool. I'm probably going to have to rejig these a little bit at the end anyway. So, who else we've got? We've got Nazeem. Nazeem and Coatlmox, and... fucking Kuzco. God damn it, Carl, your fucking title is so long. I can never see your name on the sheet. I just see Grand Apothecary and Primus. And... Rage. Okay, so where are we at? For Kuzco, I feel like Kuzco probably isn't doing so hot on the personality thing. Didn't take part in the boarding action. Liked by the medics, but they're a very tiny minority. Not super popular with the murder at the moment, and was having his moment of character building pure panic on the bridge. So I'm inclined to say somewhere between 15 and 20 votes. Do you have a preference, Carl?
I would say 15.
That's fair.
Carl doesn't want to be captain.
Well, this is also...
it's power.
Yeah, exactly.
Or influence, whatever.
We're still maintaining that people are allowed to veto themselves from the race thing. So if Carl doesn't want to be captain, all he has to do is say Kuzco is ineligible, and we'll just veto votes for Kuzco. Cool. Which leaves us then with... This is probably not going to add up to 100, fuck it. Which leaves us then with Coatlmox and Nazeem. I feel like Coatlmox has probably gone down a little bit, at least proportionally. But
I must have gone down a lot, right? There's been a lot of glory I missed.
That's true, actually. So if we put you on 15 votes as well, because you missed the whole fight, and you're still liked by the murder, but like you weren't even there.
Yeah. And even my sideline stuff was nerd shit anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to the ship psychiatrist, who was in one of the first boarding torpedoes to hit the station, and then charged straight into the guts of it. And at least some of the murder survived. So should we also put him at 30 votes?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
That's bad about my 30 votes now. Or whatever it was.
You were on 10.
Oh, was it 10? Oh, fuck, I feel terrible about that then.
So 10 votes for Nazeem. What does that actually add up to? So that's 60 plus 90. That's actually 100 votes exactly. Huh. Okay, I'll take it. Cool. So, votes in Discord. Let's get it let's get it clear now. Does anyone definitely not want to be nominated for captain? Verbal comment, please.
Sure.
Cool.
I'm
so,
out.
no voting for Carl. No voting for you, Nicholas. Everyone else good?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, if you'd like to Discord spook me your votes, voting. The polls are open. Tension. 40% attendance, 60% attendance, 80% attendance.
Can't remember names. Can we go with players?
Yeah, that's fine. 100% attendance. Okay. Just calcing now. Oh wow. Some surprise votes here, and you know who you are. Okay. So, there's much discussion in the months to follow as to who should be in charge, who the real leader should be. There's been a lot of heroics tossed about, and some maybe less than heroics, but also some moments of interest and intrigue. The murder especially seems thoroughly split, some of its saner, more rational members going over towards tactical company, but also riven between its usual preferred candidates. Eventually, magnanimously, Grand Captain Coayah agrees to open the traditional voting for the captaincy. Driven more by... what's your motivation here, Benji? Why does Coayah allow this, other than it being a Legion tradition?
It's the tradition. It's what we do.
Just it's the tradition. That's fair. Legion traditions are important, and there's so comparatively few that you have that you approve of that everyone else also is kind of into, so may as well hang on for this. Let's hope it pays off for Grand Captain Coayah. Tribune Coayah. Bringing up the rear with a passionate base in both instances. Captain Macuiltotec.
Damn it, every goddamn time. One day I'll be captain.
You're going to organise some voter blocks or something.
Yeah.
Captain Macuiltotec, and alongside him, your head tech marine, Coatlmox, Ical, have their own detractors and have their own passionate supporters, but in both instances are ultimately minorities. There's also a fairly significant confused portion those who aren't able to throw their votes in for any one major character or otherwise who vote for assorted minor officers in dribs and drabs. The largest minority, by quite a ways, but still a minority, votes for the returning of the incumbent Grand Captain. Coayah retains his seat. Congratulations to Coayah, as it becomes clear that stability wins, and that if anyone else wants a shot at the captaincy, they're going to have to intrigue a little bit.
Or take on a knight.
Yeah, actually that is the other route to power. So either A, intrigue, or B, out fabulous Coayah.
I'll take on 2 knights with one hand tied behind my back.
That probably would do it, yes. Cool. Which gives us about 20 minutes of session left. Does anyone have anything they wanted updated on, like what's happening in the sector, or other stuff they wanted to be doing in these last 6 months?
I just realised why our renown isn't saving, or rather, I don't know why it isn't, but our renown doesn't save when you update it. If you put something into it and then you close and reopen it, it seems that your renown just doesn't save. At least that's what I've just found.
Weird.
Yeah. So we have probably been putting it in. We just notice it's disappeared every time. So it should go somewhere else.
Wow.
One sec. I just tried putting 12 into Carl's.
I'm going to put it in my brain.
It doesn't save.
But
I'm guessing it's
power armor history.
somewhere else in the thing.
Power armor history next to your speciality in brackets.
Have we got a notes section?
No,
You've got bio and info.
that doesn't count. It's not even part of the sheet.
I'm going to put it in my talents. I think. Just
You know what? Put it under fucking gender. Your space marines. You. One, it doesn't
This
matter.
is a custom fucking.
I'll put it in my aptitudes. So we've got current, which is company-wide, which, as far as we're aware, is probably more than 3, but is currently 3.
Are we counting it as a running total of everything, or are we just counting it as 2 separate trackers?
For what?
2 separate
Sorry.
tracks.
The renown. So are we counting it that,
Personal
for example, do
story.
I have current no number 5, or do I have 3 and then 2?
You have 5.
So we have company renown of 3 and personal. Well, I have personal renown of 2, right? From this.
Yes, renown. You can keep track of them separately if you like. I think that's perfectly valid. But the total number is the important one.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you want to know them separately, so you can know how much better you are than other people specifically, for easy pissing on your comrades, that's entirely fine.
Oh, yeah, why do you think I was asking?
Oh, fair. Cool. Yeah. Anything else you wanted checked in or done in the meanwhile?
Sorry.
I was going to say, other than my spooky rock research, I would want to be showing up in the old fighting pits or training zones every day with my axe, muttering about glory.
Yeah, I'll take a weapon skill test.
I'm going to roll.
That's a lot of DOS.
Only 3.
You got best quality weapons though.
Oh yeah,
4 DOS. Sorry, Ollie?
I would like to check in with the Admech as they're working on my suit of mystery.
Fair. So, we'll do Creed's resolution first then. Yeah, but something's driving you, Coatlmox. A little voice at the back of your head that doesn't scream weak or useless, but it does whisper it over and over again. Every time you feel satisfaction, every time you feel okay, just something telling you that you need to drive, to succeed, to be better, to not let this happen, to not be left out, to grow, to change, to be better than you currently are. The voice is not a good voice, it's not a pleasant voice, but it does make you want to be better. You demonstrate this physically at the fighting pits, trouncing enemy after enemy, showing to all and sundry that though you may not have been there for the battle, had you been, you would have won honour and glory. Had you only been. Meanwhile, at the Mechanicum Shrine, what did you want to know there, Maccy?
So I think I'd like to. It seems like our new Magus adjutant is fine with. It sounds like anyway fine with me maybe inquiring about the processes that are going on. Not quite understanding them potentially, but interested nonetheless.
The mysteries of the Mechanicum are sacred and not easily shared with outsiders, and yet I am a humble servant of Astartes.
She bows low.
I will share what I can and explain. Obfuscate processes until they become reasonable.
I want to figure out if they can see why the power armor failed on me, and I want to know if I should ever get back in it, or if I should ask for a new set.
Okay. What is your preferred outcome, Ollie, out of the machine spirit hates you, the machine spirit has a death wish, and the machine spirit is defective? It's all hardware, I guess.
I would rather this machine spirit doesn't hate me, because that's going to cause so many issues. Death wish feels fun but dangerous.
Probably. That's how I would sum that up.
And defective sounds easy. But, fuck it. Death wish, why not?
Okay. You know what? I was going to make you call odds or evens, but I think you picked a nice risky option. After some months of delicate diagnosis, mechanical and otherwise, the Magus Adjutant craves your attention and, at a formal audience, announces to you that
I'm afraid, my lord, it would seem that the machine spirit of your Terminator suit is morbidly inclined. The suit feels a deep existential dread, one it seeks to drown in bitter oblivion.
Oblivion of my enemies, or of itself?
Both. It does not feel bloodlust so much as perhaps a profound melancholy. It would end itself in glory and destruction.
Actually, it wants to end itself in glory and destruction. That's fine by me. But by shutting itself down, that is not a noble action for a suit to take. I am myself not melancholy. I would prefer not to have a suit that was as well, but I shall keep it and see if I can work with it for at least another period of time. I wish to learn more about it, and see if I can bend it over to my will, and if we can perhaps work with each other.
She bows low again.
I laud your desire to work with the sacred machine. The spirit is not flawed, it is simply going through a troubled time. Your desire to work with it does you credit, my lord.
If you'd like to add to your inventory one suit of cripplingly depressed cataphracti Terminator armor.
Quite literally cripplingly depressed, right?
Yeah. Not wrong. Oh, machine spirit, we've all been there.
One other thing I'd like to do. Did we ever go back to Nick? I can't remember.
That's something I want.
Yes, we'll go back to Nick now if you like. But just to actually, we've even got a power armor history. Ollie, congratulations! You're actually the first person in the game to earn power armor history.
Woo!
I guess technically it's your Termi armor, but still. Was your Nicholas waiting on something? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to do.
What was it? Your
Same.
It's just a small thing.
Okay.
Using the pick feed data from... Okay, Maccy doesn't have one, so it would be my suit and...
We haven't got any. We stopped doing it as a matter of course.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, in which case, it'll have to be off of descriptions and so forth.
Yeah.
I'd like a picture painted of myself and Maccy looking out across the battle as we're waiting for the... not Jefferson, what was it, sorry?
We're waiting for certain death without realising Jefferson was there, and middling Nicholas.
It wasn't Jefferson, though. It was, what was his name?
Yes.
Jeffson. So, Jeffson's coming in, hanging off
Or like
fire
hand
burst
outstretched.
sort of thing. But, he's, coming in as a side piece, because, after all, he is only a human.
Saying he's just your side piece?
He's there. He is there. I include him in the picture, but the main focus is the silhouette of myself and Maccy looking out from this torn ship across the battlefield and the galaxy.
Just think of is just you and Maccy being super philosophical about the whole thing. Look, brother, death approaches on swift wings, just us facing down it. I'm also here, sir. Shut up.
Shut up, Bambi.
I could have cut him out completely and just not included him. I included him in, but I
You know what? I will take... Do we have barter or mercantilism?
Do not believe so. You do have quote-unquote other skill, though.
Yeah, under weapon skill by default. What is the paintbrush, if not the weapon of culture?
That's deep.
I do. I have a portrait, Surf.
You do, it's true.
Yeah, I have a good quality portrait, Surf.
Do you actually? Is it actually a good quality portrait, Surf?
Yeah, you said one good quality portrait, Surf.
When the hell did I give you that? You know what? Apparently we have a good quality portrait, Surf. You may add one good quality portrait. Write down your words verbatim. I was going to make you roll for it to find someone suitable, but Coayah to the rescue.
I keep tabs on that Surf at the start and end of every battle. I want to know where he is. I want to make sure he's safe.
I don't think he enters battle. I think his job is painter.
Yes, but I make sure he's safe.
Yeah, don't Self get more paintings.
Note Self, stay away from all painters.
It's the weirdest phobia.
That's actually a point. I'm going to pop that in. Personal demeanour, afraid of painters.
I believe Cread has... Oh no, Cread and Carl both had something waiting as well, right?
Yeah, if Chris wants to go first.
Oh, my only other thing was to try and get Colt on the idea of spying on this new Admech lady, figuring out what her motives are. She seems worryingly agreeable.
Yeah, I will take either command or charm, whichever's highest, over fellowship, please, with a hidden modifier.
So yeah, I just want to say I'm so happy that I am not the only one that's finding her to be super sus.
It's kind of good for some things, but it'll be terrible for other things.
Yeah.
I've got to really go fellowship. Really go fate there.
Oh, don't fade the 83 goal.
That would be one success. Rolling under a 34. Hidden mods.
No, you actually successfully infiltrated a number of technomats into organization, but a lot of them seem to drop out of the cult quite rapidly after joining the Mechanicum, and those who remain report that she's, if anything, an inspiring figure in the divine mythology of the Obsidian Heart.
I'd like to slowly and discreetly get those who come back removed also.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world to have them discreetly disappeared. But by the third or fourth month after Drelora's appointment, you've started to notice some of the cult's hidden iconography appearing on other priests of the Mechanicum, or Magi rather, I suppose. Those who you didn't infiltrate and who are entirely unaffiliated, at least as far as you're aware, with your organization. Carl.
Considering that Kuzco has kind of turned a new leaf with the way that he views regular mortals, especially with the performance of the Salietiers and the effects of the battle and everything, he's going to be taking more of a genuine caregiver approach, and so effectively wants to be friendly isn't the right word with the regular army and stuff like that, but not so much I'm a high and mighty space marine, fuck you regular people,
you're endeavouring to be less xenophobic and insular.
Yeah.
No, I remember how y'all were in campaign 1.
Yeah. So that's kind of reinforcing, and the way that I say it's going to effectively manifest itself is regularly going down to the fighting pits and training grounds and offering medical attention on site, and trying to make that a core apothecary mandate.
In times of travel, if you'll recall correctly, you do actually also offer a training program predominantly aimed at non-Astartes Well, it wasn't initially, but it kind of became that.
Yeah, like the battle yoga.
Yeah. Cool. I'm going to call it Medicae over... I want to say weapon skill, but I don't know why. Medicae over fellowship.
Dang.
So we're kind of using it with a social bent.
Come on. That's fate, that. Maybe it'll get better.
Get Hundo.
Oh, fuck me, that's actually a pass.
DOS?
Let's have let's see, what was my okay, was it? Oh, sorry. So yeah, it's 1 degree success.
Ooh, fair. God, that was a narrow roll if that's only 1 DOS on 18.
Yeah, my fellowship's only 30.
Fair, okay. Well, your presence in the fighting pits is initially met with some suspicion. You're not the most xenophobic member of the command crew. I think that's technically probably weirdly Coatlmox.
He'll hate them more after they got glory and he didn't as well.
Exactly. And you're not the friendliest member. That's unquestionably Maccy, and it's terrifying. Though he's been, I guess, more, not standoffish of late, but more heavily involved with his Havoc company, especially since it's rebuilding and you've been taking in new crops of neophytes, so he's, getting more people in. But still, you're better than you were, more of a presence than you were, and you notice that numbers in your battle yoga classes seem to start to tick up and up and up. Subsidiary classes by some of your leading pupils don't form immediately, but your pupils would like to form them, spreading your lessons amongst the lesser members of the crew.
I most certainly encourage that.
Yeah. Tell you what, you can add peer small folk of the ship, I guess. Peer small folk of the Obsidian Heart.
Oh, actually, one thing to say.
Yeah. No, I think that's Carl's section done. We got 5 minutes.
Okay. I was wanting to know, how much do my numbers replenish by for the Havoc squad?
You've not taken permanent losses. Like, the Crusade isn't extremely... Like, the rate the murder goes through people, we're not going to penalise you for this. By the time it gets to the next campaign, you can probably reliably... unless the interim campaign goes extremely badly, you will be essentially at full strength or higher again.
Mm-hmm.
So, you took heavy losses in that one engagement, but also, to be fair, you took heavy losses in that one engagement, and also they were heavy losses in pursuit of a good cause. I think...
Can I do one thing before we end?
Yeah, sure.
I was going to say that I think Coayah is going to be spending some time seeing if he can chat to Weslin about where the Crusade is going.
Do you know what I've just processed, actually? Sorry,
What?
Complete tangent. Coayah ordered his first skinning.
No, I wanted to... you remember, I'm the reason that these guys are obsessed with skins from the first place, because I wanted to skin Michelco back on Galifas, and you ran with it.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, but this is the first time you've actually skinned someone.
This is very true. Coayah doesn't not suffer from the skin lust. He's just not ruled by it.
No, I mean, fucking listening back to last week, the moment that was the most terrifying and all of the tension, at least for me, was the point where Coayah was, on the verge of snapping and going full skin nightmare.
So what are you going to do, my lord? Bring me melting hands!
Eye twitching, voice too calm. I would like every melter gun on the ship. Anywho. Sorry, could you restate what you... Yeah, well, Ron Swanson is what I was thinking. Yeah, what were you saying?
Basically chatting to Weslin about the point of the Astartes in the Crusade. We've won a great victory, but equally we seem to be... the Legion is not going in a good direction.
Weslin,
the skin lust pervades.
Weslin likes you. And let's say this conversation's happening in the wake of your second election. Or second election victory, rather, I suppose, as you've technically been in some of the others. He nods, sitting quietly in your personal chambers. Captain Coayah, your concern does you credit, but I think you worry perhaps a little too much. You are a tool of the Emperor, and in the right hands, a tool is capable of both great good and great evil. Now, Perhaps that tool is a flensing knife. But a flensing knife, capably wielded, is as suitable a scalpel as any. The methods of many of your soldiers may be crude, but you seem capable of managing them. As long as you maintain your calmness, your dignity, and your respect for both the lives of your men and the validity of losing those who cannot respect the lives of others, I have full confidence that you will lead your legion down an excellent path.
Well, it's good to hear that from you, but equally, Honoured Wesleyan, I do still worry. Although we have gained much from this, campaign, I do still worry in that whilst I am informed that the weapon we have recovered is of human make, I am equally slightly reticent about this new Magos. If only for the fact I'm reticent of many of them, they're, how should we say, theology puts me ill at ease.
Wesleyan nods. It is an ongoing effort to coax the Mechanicum away from their superstition and idolatry. Someday, maybe centuries or millennia from now, we will bring them truly into the light of reason and truth, but for now, we allow them their little mysticisms. It's not ideal, but this is a partnership. And they are every bit as loyal followers of the Emperor as we are, no matter how strange their methods.
Indeed.
Random question I just realised.
Yeah?
Did we lose our Titans in that battle? Did any of the ships hold the Titans?
We didn't deploy them.
You left them in Omnicantis to have a very awkward a very awkward series of talks when the first discussions came through. There was a risk they might have got requisitioned by the Omnicantics, but that would have been essentially an open declaration of secession, so it didn't quite go that far.
So I would say as well, Honoured Wesleyan, I do worry for my brothers. Not necessarily for myself. We've all seen the other legions. We've all heard the tales. The great son of the Emperor leading his 16th. The 1st. The 3rd. Still honourable even now. But us? The Carrion Eaters? When this crusade is done and protection more than conquest is the tool, what happens to us? I would venture that I may be safe. There would be a place for me, even amongst the other legions perhaps, but my brothers, those lost to the lusts, I do not see how they would exist in the world we are building.
Wesleyan gives you a calm, kindly, reassuring, almost fatherly smile. These are problems to be dealt with many, many centuries hence. There is a whole galaxy to conquer first, and when we get to that point, the Emperor will know best, I'm sure. It is his way. The smile grows a little wider, a little kinder. It has always been his way.
I'm glad to hear so, although I must admit I still fear. If the legions are reflections of their father, as the 16th seem to be, what monster would have spawned the 9th? Could the Emperor have erred?
Wesleyan stands up. Grand Captain, you forget yourself.
Of course.
We'll talk later. And I think that's a good spot to leave it. Making that peer do some legwork, I see.
Making that peer do some legwork, but equally just they're like, I wonder what the 9th Primarch is going to be. I bet he's going to be a fucking monster. Horrible thing.
Actually, on that note, how many have been found at this point?
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just Horus at the moment.
Because he's found, 30-odd years before anyone else.
Yeah. Potentially before that, depending on how you interpret the law, but definitely 30 years at least. I think it's Abaddon's backstory implies that he might not actually be a Chthonian native even. It's a thing.
Yeah, he's got memories of Chthonia, but whether or not he is actually a Chthonian is another matter.
He's definitely spent time there, but yeah, it's kind of like his accent is flawless, but it's also regarded to be artificial.
Too flawless.
Exactly.
Also, for someone who had a family on Chthonian, like lots of Space Marines have daddy issues. He has some really weird daddy issues for someone who had a biological father on Chthonian.
Let's probably call pace on that discussion because it'll go on for a while, though it is interesting. Do we have any reminders for next campaign?
Be nice.
Fair.
We got ourselves some knights now.
Do we know if those knights work on standard gravity worlds?
They almost certainly don't.
I mean, they can just get plonked down as an emplacement.
In a pinch? What were you going to say, Creed?
Try and keep the cult in check. Keep tabs on... their name somewhere.
I can't lie, when you
Drelora?
mentioned the iconography spreading...
Yeah, if the cult's now spreading outside my influence, I might have just handed her her own cult to play with, which is fun, but not great. I now am going to make side plans to perhaps make a fourth now office, even secret from the others. Maybe even an additional side cult above the other cult. It's going to get interesting.
We need bent tigers.
Fucking hell.
Make sure that our navy is forged around our two twin new identities for fighting in Void, with our massive new gun and our penchant for overwhelming boarding action attacks.
Yeah, we don't even really need boarding torpedoes. Presumably, the knights have enough firepower, I would have thought.
But you still want to get yourself over there.
Yeah, but they have.
You also still
they
need
do.
to,
You don't.
You also still need to get the knights over there. The boarding torpedoes are designed to be fired across distances in the void. The knights are not. Now you can probably modify the torpedoes to accommodate the knights in some fashion.
Yeah, basically the idea is you have a knight on either side of the boarding torpedo. The boarding torpedo impacts the side. The enemy get in front of the boarding torpedo and think, they're going to be coming out of there. And then suddenly, from either side of the boarding torpedo, knights just rip their way in.
Yeah.
Like a big Kool-Aid man made of metal.
Is it wrong that I'm just imagining them, riding the torpedo like a horse?
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to... We need to work out some way for them to work with the torpedoes. We can definitely fix it. The thing is, if you have them on either side of the torpedo, you need to, widen all of the torpedo bays, which is going to cut down on the number of torpedoes you can send. So,
we could have, leads on the torpedoes.
Yeah,
you could launch them, then the knights could grab them and sort of pod racer their way.
Exactly, leads on the torpedoes, or, fucking them strapped to the front. Or so, there's ways we can make it work, but we can arrange it so the knights are involved. So retrain naval tactics to focus on the giant gun.
They're turning their macro lancers onto us. The bullets, they're knights. They have so much ammunition.
So that's
How do they keep firing?
A lance is a gun battery. Boarding torpedoes require torpedo tubes, which, because of the velocity required to fire shit at, usually when you're running a rogue trader ship, generally if you have a ship with torpedo tubes, you'll almost always take the torpedo tubes out because you can fit an entire fucking storage bay in the space that torpedo tubes take up. Which is why mass scale modifications are possible but difficult.
It's more my mind jumped to, well, why have them just being in boarding torpedoes? Why don't you use them as ammunition in the macro cannons? There was a step in my train of thought. I didn't.
The bore is definitely not correct. Cool. Any other reminders for next campaign?
Nothing's correct.
Yep. For improved communication, we should definitely requisition the Astropath from Agazla.
I will have you spaced.
So that we have a spare one.
Oh, last calls for dinosaurs. Are you sure we can't just get a couple, Benji?
God, yeah. Actually, what happened with our request to have some of those natives captured that had their souls
Now,
transferred?
in the 6 months, they would have been captured and sent there. However, there is no way Coayah wouldn't be aware. So, final call rests with Coayah on whether or not the dinosaurs the Saurians, were immediately spaced upon arrival at Ferdinandia.
Immediately spaced.
Immediately.
No fun.
spaced. No fun.
I'm
allowed
already
on
putting up
this.
with so much bullshit on my ship.
Quick side
Imagine being
question though:
attacked.
what if we got some like breedable, herdable herbivores to use as a food source that we just farmed on the ship? That could be fun.
If he spaced them, is there enough time for me to go out, cut a head off,
Sure,
bring back
you can
the
have
brain?
the brains retreat. You know what?
Yes.
Run me a speedy roll, young Nicholas. Just fuck it, stealth over agility. Do we have stealth? Is it sneak?
Yeah.
Stealth, cool. Yeah, stealth over agility.
I
Pass
think
fair.
I make that.
You think or you know? You've got agility of 38. You
I did
squeaked it.
38.
Add 3 dinosaur brains.
Yes!
Feed them to the soup.
I will say as well, young Nicholas, given you are now openly consorting with extra-dimensional entities,
Not
if
openly.
you get
Not
found out,
openly. Not openly.
It said it
No,
was
but you-
human. What more do you want?
you have the materials in there that would be come to light if you get caught with any of this shit. It is roleplay. I'm gonna have to have your character killed.
Now, I'd
Like-
point out, demons we don't know about yet at all. And
no, but
also,
it's,
this is
an
research.
unknown entity that you appear to be consorting with. Like that is rule 1.
He's hidden it
Trust
deep
not
in-
the lies.
That's fair. He has, however, hidden it deep in the library.
No, I'm well aware of that, but it's one of those ones of if you get caught with any of this stuff, I will have to kill you.
Well, I, for one, look forward to that. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, he made my little side cult look like nothing.
It is
Alright.
kind of beautiful, the scale of, like, Carl has an after-school club going on, Mackie's slowly becoming hardened and inured to the rigours of command and casualties, and having drama amongst his own troops. The multiple layers of cults happening or soon to happen for Coatlmox. Coayah desperately trying to keep shit in line, and then off to the side, openly consorting with powers beyond his ken the second he gets an opportunity, fucking Nazeem. One cloud district away from mass destruction at any given point.
I just need to bide my time.
Any other reminders for next session? I didn't add the Gazva. Fuck you.
Why not? It's sensible. If we have a
I'll
backup,
tell you
we
why
can
not.
leave an astropath
Unfortunately, shortly after you arrive at Ferdinandia, a missive arrives by Warp Runner indicating that the astropath at Gazva has suffered a critical heart attack and expired.
Then we should take the one from Ferdinandia instead. We're about to leave.
Can't just cripple the whole system.
I mean, you can, you just shouldn't.
You just saved it.
Right. I'm going to head off early anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We got to spin on here. So, any other
Right.
reminders? Bye, Benji.
Yes.
I'm all good. Right. Good night, guys.
No,
Show them, man.
sorry, I just need to keep scrolling up a little bit to find it. But like, if the next 2 ships to get named have to be either, I say next 2 ships, one of the next ships gets named has to be either. God damn it! What was it? Bag of not ferrets, weasels. Thank you.
Bag of Weasels and
Oh, I'm trying to find it. Bag of weasels. And
last episode went up yesterday. I just forgot to ping you, so you can probably just listen to that. I think it was mentioned.
Drunk Bumblebee. That was
Drunk
it.
Bumblebee there.
Oh,
Because, I know we've got our little. Because what I was going to say, I know that we've got a little warp runner for Team Rainbow Ocelot.
Yeah. The Rainbow Ocelot itself.
And with the amount of ships that we lost, there's no doubt going to be more to replace them.
It's true. I mean, we'll have a little interim campaign as well, though after the in-betweeny campaign, which Benji's has an interesting pitch for. Cool. Any final reminders? Yep. Okay. In that case, I know it was a bit of a quiet session this time, but we covered a lot of the drama last time. On that note, any feedback? Anything you liked? Anything you disliked? Anything you'd like to see more of or less of next time? Next campaign, even. I guess up to including this whole campaign.
It was nice not having to justify to the custodians why, under my command, like half of the active fleet was lost.
The observers are more supposed to observe unless extreme circumstances call for it. And incompetence is generally not an extreme circumstance unless it's extreme incompetence. So consider it to potentially be in the testimonial banks.
I'm a medic, goddammit.
Fair. Any other feedback?
One bit of feedback I'd like is maybe we keep better track of the numbers of various people in both our companies, Space Marine, and in our army as well.
I tend to deliberately obfuscate it because I feel like if we do too much record keeping, it becomes very... You have to have X people at Y place, and historically that's been more annoying than anything else.
I think the numbers got too fuzzy, so I don't even really know. Like, I don't know what... No, it's more because I just don't know, what our various guard companies are doing with.
General fractions would be okay.
Yeah, we could do fractions, I think, is a decent compromise. I'd be very happy to do fractions. I'll try and do more fractions for you. Because I know that was like, if you remember the army regiments for Galifas, we did like numbers initially, and then we wound up just going with fractions by the end of it. In fact, we did a percentage, because percentage and knowing, like, were they a small unit, were they a massive unit, that more or less covered everything.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. I think we went too far one way the first time, too far the other way this time.
That's fair. I mean, story of my fucking GMing life, am I right?
Roundabout. Although on the, I say, unit size, like, I presume, apart from the Librarian, the Apothecary is the smallest unit.
Yes, you're the... Like, there's, I don't know, somewhere between 6 and a dozen of you, whereas there's one psychiatrist in the Librarian.
Yeah. So it doesn't really count as, like, a unit, as an entity.
The Librarian or the Psychiatrarian? The real question.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not referring anyone for that. Mental health is not an issue on this ship.
You will go to the Psychiatrarian and you will let the psychiatrist lick your brain.
Well, what's going to be the time difference between next and main campaign?
It's a good question, actually. So I've kind of hit, like, I think I'm going to keep doing the, like, we do a session of a mini campaign, where it's like a whole campaign condensed down into one, because I do want to get to the heresy, and I feel like if we not quite skip, like, condense at least every other campaign, that'll let us get through some decades, but still have some plot developments in between. The next campaign is 14 years hence. Yes, the next campaign is 14 years hence. It is the big scheduled betrayal situation, which I know is not a plot spoiler because it was like a critical part of your Legion. And we'll probably condense it down into one, but it'll be more of a like clusterfucky one, unless there are any strong objections to that.
Am I good to send you random rough breakdowns of the machinations I want in place?
Yeah, we can try for it.
How open are psychers at that point, or is it not until the Horus Heresy that librarians become a thing?
Basically, you have a situation where there's no psychers in the legions at the start of the Crusade, and then as the legions get more and more authority because they get more and more split out and start to absorb like homeworlds from non-Terran sources, some of them start to develop their own librarians where they incorporate psychers because who the fuck's going to stop them? And then that comes to a head at Nicaea, which is a council towards the end of the Crusade. I want to say around 160 years in, where they officially go, no, there will be no more psychers in the Space Marine Legions. The librarians have to stop using psychic powers and return to the ranks. And then they come back into active use during the heresy. Mostly through they have to. So it's basically a question of when you feel comfortable outing yourself. The major danger from your point of view is Weselin. but also it's when do you think this is fair? And you can also go the Space Wolf route and have an official cover story that's I am not a psyker, I am an XYZ. Yeah.
XYZ.
Sorry, where it's you go so you know how the Space Wolves, at least later on, insist that they don't have psychers, they have rune priests who simply commune with the world spirit of Fenris.
Okay, yeah.
You could have I'm not a psyker, I am a psychiatrist. We use intuitive understanding and homeopathic remedies to destroy our enemies with lightning on the battlefield.
Okay.
Homeopathic lightning is the best excuse ever.
I just have advanced logic circuits and I can pick up on people's feelings, that's all.
Exactly. See, so you can advertise this as that's how that works. And you can even know that you're speaking bollocks, but fundamentally you're coming at it from the same cult outlook that Coatlmox leads his cult from, or you would be. Where
work the word obsidian into your title and I can probably help you out.
Yeah, okay, I can do that.
I mean, I hate to continue to mirror the sodding Space Wolves of all things, but you could maybe argue it as a manifestation of the machine spirit of the Pater Obsidia.
I would put you in a very dangerous place in my cult, but it could be fun.
So, I guess that's a kind of decide your own level of drama there, young Nicholas, really. And feel free to discuss it with me or discuss it with the rest of the group or both. It's,
okay. Yeah.
Or also if it's not something where you want to set your own level of drama, it would also be valid to say hey, could I get an out to be outed publicly? E.g., I can bring in Space Marines from another Legion/company who are using psychers openly to give you that excuse, if that would help. Just let me know when you'd like that to happen. Or you can, as I say, set it yourself. Any other feedback? No? Cool. Questions? Anything anyone was narratively unsure of in this session or indeed campaign? Did everyone follow the plot?
Yeah, I followed it.
I'm assuming the mysterious face isn't ongoing, or...
I mean, it wasn't really going to be, young Nicholas, but you do have a way of latching on to questionable content and keeping it going.
Yeah, I was curious what it was, but if it's going to be coming back, then by all means I'm not going to ask for spoilers.
Yeah, valid ask. I'm not going to give you any spoilers on that one. I don't have anything massively planned for it at the moment, but I assume that it's probably just a resource you will abuse until it fucks you over in future.
Almost definitely.
That's your general pattern of behaviour.
Yep. It's this cool thing until it blows up in my face, in which case it wasn't mine.
You're definitely a classic psycho, Nicholas. Any other narrative questions? Did we cover the fates of everything? I don't think we left any major world with narrative threads dangling.
I'm just happy if there's been a slight observable impact of my rock shenanigans on the footprint.
Yeah, more and more, and you've essentially left them on that run permanently, so they're slowly going to ferry everything off of Tiguantis and then over to Naxos.
That'll certainly probably cause the fall of some more planets if that warp storm spreads. But
Did we keep any of those rocks?
I did.
You kept the smallest, at the largest amount you could, in order to still be able to use it, which was, I think, and then there was also some experiments ongoing, which I think was the club thing that Cread has, which is it's not an Astartes-sized club, it's a human-sized club, but it's a club of black rock. Which
I'll be breaking down about half of it to try and experiment into metal alloys. Keep the other as intact as I can. But I haven't really got anything warpy to test it against yet, so I'm trying to wait for my in, where I eventually lace all my armour in it.
That's the quietest high. Any other narrative questions? Oh, cool. Everything with a neat little bow there, really.
Oh, actually, one question. Did you actually want me to choose power armor history? Because there's number 4, which is probably the most appropriate, on page 163.
I mean, I'll have a look, but I wasn't really asking you to choose. I was just saying, you kind of earned one. That's
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Let's say number 4, Death is Joy.
It's more about killing people really easily, though, rather than...
Yeah, I mean, if you want a mechanical effect, we'll say that your armor gives you a +10 on getting into situations of almost certain death and a -10 on getting out of situations of almost certain death. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. Okay. Traits. Depression armor.
It is a melancholic machine spirit. You ever really wanted to have, like, Eeyore for the machine spirit of your armor? Although Eeyore wasn't suicidal, to be fair. Just really down. Anywho. Cool. Which brings us on to Exploit. Exploit! Hang on. Plot progression. Does anyone feel like you did any significant plot progression this session? And if so, what?
Yes.
And if so, what? And also, now your Nicholas isn't allowed to answer. Whatever answer your Nicholas says is automatically discarded. No one else can say it. That's how we're doing that. I'm done. I'm done with your.
We completed our main and 2 secondary objectives.
That's very fair. Actually, what the fuck have I given you for end of campaign stuff previously? Let me have a look.
2,000 XP.
No. Sorry, just one moment. Plus, so it looks like it's plus 500 XP for a time skip, but it's separate to all the objectives, and I give it to you before the time skip. Okay, cool. So completed primary and secondary objectives. Yeah, that's probably an easy pass.
Do we get extra XP for completing those objectives? Like 100 and then 50 and 50 or something, was it? Or
no,
not?
you got renown for it. And then now it's just filling out with plot progress stuff. Character development. Does anyone feel that they developed their character this session? And if so, what?
It was kind of off camera, but I'll hate humans even more after they got celebrated for their medals.
That's entirely
and have a new, different themed Dunmech rival to play with. This time I shall be her, Manabi Virith.
Yeah, you've had lots of fun times with your hyper-conservative Magos. Enjoy your new Magos. I hope you have a good time. I'm sure you'll discover all about them.
Nazeem's been looking for something else psychery, some way to expand his knowledge, and now he's found it.
Fucking hell. He couldn't find a psychic friend amongst humans, so he went elsewhere. To different, entirely related humans.
Exactly. They said they're a human.
You wouldn't know my psychic girlfriend. She goes to a different psychic school.
I did a reading to make sure they weren't, like, devious. She seems fine.
No, you didn't.
I did. I did a reading on it.
I don't think you did. I think you may well have tried to, but I don't recall letting you read it. If nothing else, don't you need to touch them?
No.
Oh, well. Any other character development?
Kuzco is now, like, pro-regular people.
I'm liking the swinging attitudes towards humans. Especially because you're balancing out Coatlmox from, like, low-key making the rest of the Legion tilt towards xenophobia.
Maccy is more dead set than ever on becoming the next captain, through whatever means. Well,
I'm not going to help with those means.
No, I like it.
I've been sidelined for too long.
Exactly, and you've tried to play fair, but, like, you know, even when you go through all that heroics, he's just showy, and then what did you get? Nothing. You fought thousands of aliens. You lost battle brothers. He took all the supplies and resources of the ship and destroyed one knight? Some Mechanicum guy killed like 6 of those moments before. How hard can it possibly be?
Right.
Excellence of roleplay. Does anyone feel like anyone else roleplayed particularly well this session? And if so, how?
I like Benji's speech with Wenlin towards the end.
Wesleyan. But yes.
Wesleyan. Yeah, it's the same difference.
Coayah and Wesleyan have a fireside chat. Actually, like, I was hoping that we'd change captain a bit, but I'm also glad that we didn't, because it means I don't have to adjust any of the narrative threads I had prepped for next time that assumed Coayah's still in charge. So, less effort. Woo! Any other Excellence of Roleplay awards?
I'm not sure if it's roleplay or people just like whether like willful ignorance or generally not picking up on it, but just nodding and smiling when the new Magos came. Just like, yeah, don't worry, I got you, bros. Like high fives all round.
I think it was a lot of people like phasing out very slightly, but they did like tacitly wind up approving Coayah's thing. When if everyone had dissented, you could have got the Magos Adjutant preemptively fired. In which case, I guess fucking Coatlmox would have had more influence over the choice. But I don't know whether that would have been a good thing or a bad thing.
Never know.
So. Any other excellence of roleplay awards?
The way that when Coatlmox came back, just I say took out or vented frustrations through melee combat.
Fair.
Mackie's look, we can be friends if you really want to, I think gets shut down.
I wasn't friends, like I said. It was.
It was
arms.
Yeah, that was it.
It was a mutual breakup. Look, they're really still very close co-workers. Any other excellence of roleplay awards? You've hit cap, but I guess if you want to say nice things. Nope, cool. Okay, in that case, I make that out to be many XP is 690 for session number 25. That will be yes, 690. 30 points of plot progression. That's completing both the primary and both primary objectives and the secondary objective. 30 points of character development. That's Coatlmox hating humans, Nazeem finally finding a psychic friend, Kuzco liking regular humans, and Maccy wanting to become the next captain at any cost. 30 points excellence of roleplay. That's Coayah and Weslin have a fireside chat. Everyone nodding aimlessly to approve the new Magos Adjutant. As Coatlmox screams in the distance. Coatlmox venting his frustrations through melee training, and Maccy tries to make a new friend and tries to make a friend and gets shut down. Plus 100 standard. Plus 500 for your time skip.
Can I give a reminder as well that I want to become commander at next at any cost?
I think that's very fair. And
also,
yeah,
you go. No, you go.
No, I was just going to say I like fully support it. The by hook or by crook thing.
And the other question was: are we ranking up for the next campaign? Not in terms of the rank in our character sheet, but in terms of our control over the amounts of the company.
So the mini camp we've got coming up, you'll be at the same level. The campaign after that, you'll be Legion Command.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try not to make it too much like abstract movement stuff. And in fact, the first Legion Command thing is going to involve probably no Legion commanding, but I'm really excited for it. I prepped for it before this campaign even. It's one of my favorite concepts I've got laid out. So, very, very hyped.
Are we jumping into this campaign with the pre-betrayal campaign next week?
No, so we're going to go into the betrayal campaign stuff when we come back to 40k. Next week, we're going to be starting on a different campaign of some kind, per Carl's request for an intermission. And then World of Darkness. I'd been kind of yo-yoing between Ghost Hunters from Old World of Darkness and Mummy from New, but Benji has come out of left field with a third pitch that he'd quite like me to have a bash at, so I might well end up doing that. Unless there are any other strong feelings or pitches. And that brings us on to everyone's... No, thank you. I don't have the stomach for mage. It's too much. Do you remember sorcerers, Carl?
I'm taking the piss, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, sorry. I had little fucking. I still get sandwich emojis in the RPGs channel at work. Fucking. We had Katya in for a game last week, and she went, "Oh, I've heard of you. You're the sandwich folks, right?" That sorcerers game. Fucking.
Good times.
I get people going like, I get Warhammer nerds going, long-form Great Crusade game, that sounds cool. But I get like every other variety of person going, oh yeah, you're the fucking like cave-dwelling Chilean mountain people, right? It was a time.
Hey,
so much flavour.
Nothing wrong with it.
Well, I mean, this is why I like Ghost Hunters as a concept, because it's low-powered, though I'm not going to force you to live in the mountains again. That would probably be more the one where you're like a TV crew for a ghost hunting show, and everyone plays different members of the crew, and you're there to find a ghost.
Shotgun sound boom guy.
I mean, we need a sound boom guy of some kind.
I'd be the annoying friend that doesn't believe in ghosts, and is just saying all the really bad things.
You can 100% not believe in ghosts or like want to disprove them or something, but if you're a member of the TV crew, you'd have to be like some member of the TV crew who doesn't believe in ghosts. You could be the really shit presenter.
Can't I be the friend of the presenter?
Not if we're doing everyone has to be a member of the TV crew. We've only got 5 players. We can't have like camera guy, boom guy, presenter, friend of someone, and other person.
Friend of other person.
You can't have 2 friends.
Why not? I can have more than one friend.
Oh, young Nicholas. I'm just going to let that pause hang there. No, I joke. You're a lovely person. Which brings us on to everyone's favourite part of the session. It's the highlights. Young Nicholas, whilst you're talking, do you have any highlights for this session?
Oh, Lord. What are your feelings on blowing up half my ship?
Fair. Any other highlights?
Dinosaur brains.
I'm still saucy that we didn't. I don't want to vent, like, especially as this is the highlights, but like, there's not that much bullshit that goes on.
I dare say.
I salvaged what I could from those brains.
I dare say I'll find ways for you.
I mean, technically, I have dinosaur DNA now. Oh.
Any other highlights, young Nicholas?
Portrait 1 down. Oh,
Fair.
Portrait 1 done.
Oh yeah, your new personal goal. Any other highlights?
Yep. The face returns.
I've never met anyone in this age of Ubisoft who voluntarily wants to add collectibles into the RPG, like tabletop RPG format. Sorry, what did you say? I was completely stunned by that realization.
The face returns.
The face returns. Well, it's
another
voices.
Collectible.
I'm happy that you're making friends with similar interests to yours. Any other highlights?
I told you I could make friends. What else? I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Creed, do you have any highlights for that session?
Yeah, I didn't take great notes this time though. Coayah finally executes Manabi Virith.
Oh, it's been a long time coming.
Got him before me too. I would have loved to kill him.
Oh dear. Like, I think you've wanted to kill him since the final session of the first campaign, and we're at the end of campaign 3?
Almost as soon as he got too disagreeable.
Campaign
Or
4,
I learned that he was disagreeable.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? But he's always been useful enough and hard enough and thorny enough to kill. The one time he's vulnerable and he gets melted. Literally, in fact. Any of the highlights, Creed?
Knights of Slough.
What's a really
Swan Alley G.
a good way to sum up depression and enslaved knighthood?
Oh, wait,
Slough. Yeah, I was going to say he's not Slough, is he? Any of the highlights, Creed?
See.
I don't know. I'll take Stains over Slough any day.
Solent Salietiers get some recognition.
I hope they get a homeworld at some point so it can be called Salietiers.
That'll be it from me. But as a side note, I'm sending you a huge wall of text.
Christ. Alright, well, I mean, I read Benji's documents. I guess open spoop, it might be worth putting in the channel.
It'll be huge for me.
That's what she said.
God damn it. Cool. Do you have any highlights for that session, Carl?
Middling Nicholas casually slights Maccy.
I don't think Middling Nicholas is going to come off alright in the end. I strongly suspect that unless he gets the fucking Mishilko treatment where he's kind of kicked upstairs to be his own problem for a bit, someday Mackie's going to run out of patience and find a good excuse to just execute him.
But someone's a badly maintained Firebird, which hasn't been used in 14 years. Weren't you a really good pilot of that, Middling Nicholas? I seem to remember you being an excellent pilot.
I think you get what's the Firebird? The Firebirds. I think it's crewed by members of the Destroyer Company, but it's the allocated personal transport of the command squad. It's a weird scenario. Sorry, Middling Nicholas casually slides Maccy. Anything else?
Near literal walking red flag.
I felt really bad, like, I was really happy to have my Trixie Admech in, and then realised that I'd made the first Trixie Admech we'd really had, fucking, one, the walking red flag when you said it, and two, the, like, haha, Trixie female character, and gone, oh no, is that a bit shitty for a couple of minutes? Before it was like, no, it's fine, they're a fucking Magos, they're all Trixie evil bastards. This'll just be hilarious. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes, and I guess I'm not gonna hold back on her shenanigans and counter shenanigans with Coatlmox.
As long as I don't have to deal with them.
I think they'll make themselves everyone's problem eventually. Any other highlights, Carl?
Even Coatlmox has a montage. Montage!
Did Coatlmox have a montage? Oh yeah, he did! With the fighting in the pits.
Yeah.
It's nothing compared to the ship's intranet having fucking anime music video Coayah smash-ups. Smash-ups? Smash-ups. It's probably quite disrespectful, but, you know, you've already got enough secret cults going on that they've got ways of distributing this stuff. Any other highlights?
There was one that I just thought of, but the thought of AMVs pushed it out.
We can go back to you if you like.
Please, yeah.
Got one final person after all. Mr. Ollie. Do you have any... And I promise, I know that was really harsh on you in many ways, the last couple of sessions there. I promise we'll find a way to, like, give you a bit more spotlight in a way that doesn't result in half your company getting killed by young Nicholas indirectly next time. You're such a trooper, Ollie, and I know I say this to you a lot, but I do appreciate that you usually put up with this stuff with a smile, and at worst, a bit of polite feedback that maybe people could stop crapping in your open mouth quite so much.
I just have to start crapping back in people's mouths, whether they're open or not.
Yeah, I think that's probably the solution. When the world shits on you, you shit aggressively on the world.
You take laxatives, then you shit on the world.
It's a Cave Johnson speech in here somewhere. Give you a current reference. Any highlights, Ollie?
Night Slayer spreading throughout the cosmos.
Yeah, because there's not been that many like high-profile engagements between the Mechanicum and the Imperium. Like, by and large, they're either peaceful integrations, semi-peaceful integrations, or the Mechanicum takes care of its own. Fairly few scenarios where you have like Astartes fighting knights. And especially as the night houses generally probably go, obviously we're going to win that. Well, how would they ever beat us? Having like video footage that shows it.
They'd be like, why the great knights?
Exactly, like bruising a lot of egos there. A lot of people getting really pissy. The amount of people probably screaming that the fucking picked cord footage is faked. Or picked feed. Picked corded. There we go.
That's a shop right there.
Yeah, so it's, exactly, you know. This is a shop. A single Astartes could never beat a knight. As the ancients foretold, 'tis fakery. Yes, sorry, Ollie.
That wasn't me trying to hire you on. I thought you finished. The other one I was going to say, Shit, I had it in my mind's eye, on the tip of my nose.
No doubt feel mine.
It was just circling the nostrils. Damn it, I've forgotten. Oh.
Gently just like tickling your nasal hairs.
Yeah, basically.
Teasing your sinuses.
Caressing the old polyps that live up there.
Yeah,
I have remembered mine, though. Why are you trying to remember yours, Ollie?
Go for it.
Colonel Jefferson.
With the emphasis and everything.
I remember there was going to be a slight that happened again. Oh yeah. The bed was it the fireplace conversation where Benji got a little too comfortable.
Yeah, what? What if the Emperor made a mistake? Whoa, we are cutting this conversation off here.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
I like the idea of like the Centurion just like flashing back to killing off all the Thunder Warriors and flashing forward again. It's like, no, we don't make mistakes. We don't do that.
Yes, I can't pin down any moments in that conversation where that flashed through the custodian's mind.
That wasn't a mistake. It was all intended. It was part of the grand plan, right? Yeah.
The Emperor knows.
What Thunder Warriors? Yeah, I can't think of
died at Mount Ararat.
Well, apart from that one dude.
I'm a big fan of Mount Ararat. There was a fair few survivors, but it used to be like there were none, then there was one, then there was. It kind of went, it got the Jedi treatment where like the completely effective purge eventually became completely effective, apart from all of these incidents of people getting away. And I almost think that's better sometimes if it's good for the story, but it is kind of entertaining. Any other highlights then, Ollie?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head now.
Cool. I don't think I have anything extra to add there. Yeah?
I can't remember her name. I just keep thinking of Drill Her.
Drelora for... God damn it, Carl. Drelora for Veldin.
But yeah, Drelora potentially taking over Coatlmox's cult. I can't remember the name of the cult.
I can add
The
that.
Obsidia cult. I think. Cult of the Pater Obsidia.
Like the Obsidian Father.
Yeah. It's the fans of Big Papa Stony Man.
Oh, I thought it was the ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all kind of the same.
Yeah, Big Papa Stony Man, the ship.
In a worrying way, I've kind of projected the Emperor and Omnisire onto the ship, but I'm sure it's fine.
It'll be fine. It's fine. It's all fine, And then people learn that if they manifest psychic powers, that's actually a good thing. They're just an extension of the ship. So everyone should aim for that, right?
Yeah.
I, for one, look forward to young Nicholas taking control of the cult.
For the record, he'll only ever be invited to the public sub-cult and main cult.
Not the inner
Not
cult.
the level 5 cult that exists on the basement floors.
No, not the private sub-cult.
It's kind of... People wonder why the Inquisition has to exist, but you look at the amount... Okay. Thank you all for a very entertaining session number 25. Any final words for the recording?
The vote was rigged.